The Cubs are in Brewer country for a primetime battle against Milwaukee's best. Cubs, Brewers, tonight at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN. The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
Outside it's brutally cold, but we are inside and we're stuffing our faces with brats. That's because we're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for Cubs baseball here on WGN Sports. A lot of Cub fans, as always, making the trek up north. And we're inside Miller Park. It's the Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 1 of an Easter weekend 3-game series. Welcome inside. We took our jackets off finally. First time in a few days. Bob Brenly and Len Kasper with you. The Cubs dropped 2 of 3 in Cincinnati. Milwaukee won 2 of 3 against the Dodgers. Got to tighten the screws a little bit with the base running and just a couple of mistakes yesterday in Cincinnati that Lou Piniella would rather not see.
You know, Len, physical mistakes are always going to be a part of the game of baseball, but mental mistakes are the things you really need to cut down on if you expect to have a successful season. Alfonso Soriano got caught leaning the wrong way over there at first base, a little overly aggressive. After Matt Merton reached base, Ryan Theriot came on as a pinch runner. He just made a brain cramp right here. You never advance to third base on a ball hit in front of you. That's exactly what Ryan Theriot did. And then Michael Barrett with a pass ball allowing a run to score. Sometimes you can overcome an error or two in the course of a ball game, but when they come in bunches like that, it's tough to win games.
One of the ways you overcome that is to score more runs. The Cubs with just 7 runs in the first series of the year. Hopefully that'll improve this weekend. And we look for another good outing by a starting pitcher. It'll be Rich Hill's first outing since 10 days ago in spring training.
It's been a while since Rich Hill has faced hitters in anger, but if he can continue to do the things that he did down in Arizona in spring training where he was absolutely fantastic. You see his numbers from his last starts at the end of last season. In spring training, 15 2/3 innings pitched, 16 strikeouts, 0 walks.
Right-hander Dave Bush, who led Milwaukee with 12 wins last year, will make his first start of the regular season. We're set to go. The Cubs and the Brewers should be a great season series. A couple of teams that think they have great chances to win this division.
We're gonna dim the lights and get busy. It's down to the final 5.
We hit it out of the ballpark tonight.
And this is the night.
I do not believe you can compete with
RJ walks off.
RJ!
But is this the end for him? American Idol Rewind.
Sunday at 8 on Superstation WGN.
Sorry, dude. Only got one left. Hey, I'm gonna grab some nachos. Walter! Watch my Bud Light, buddy.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Does Walter like nachos?
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help with bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace, your place, with everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. Ace,
The helpful place.
Hey, Cubs fans, keep your eye on the ball. Every time a Cubs player hits a homer at Wrigley, you could be a winner. It's the Southwest Airlines How Far Did It Fly Home Run Contest. After every Cubs homer, write down the distance along with your name and address and send it to WGN TV. 10 winners will receive 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination. For every Cubs homer, ask yourself, how far did it fly? From Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. Comcast, hit a home run with Comcast Digital Voice Home Phone Service. Call today for a great offer. The Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Well, pre-2001, we would be wearing everything in our respective suitcases tonight. It is brutally cold outside. But it's not, 75 degrees inside Miller Park. They can warm it up about 30 degrees more than the outside temperature. So we're sitting comfortably here around 60 degrees, I would have to guess, as we're ready for game one of this 3-game series. This should be a fun one this weekend. Both teams believe, Bob, that they are much improved here in 07.
Well, for the Brewers, that nucleus of a fine young team continues to mature together with Prince Fielder, Bill Hall, and J.J. Hardy, and so forth and so on. And of course, with Lou Piniella and the Cubs, they're expecting big things this year. All the money that was spent on free agent acquisitions in the offseason, and so far that offense hasn't clicked quite the way Lou would like to see it click.
Speaking of offense, now Sweet Lou's lineup against Dave Bush, brought to you by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. Soriano leads it off. Jones, the second time in 4 games he's batted second. Lee Ramirez, Cliff Floyd with his second start. Barrett, DeRosa had a big day yesterday as Torres and Hill.
And let's take a look at the Brew Crew defensively. Kevin Mensch will start in left field. Bill Hall makes the move to center field this year. A lot of guys making that move to center field. Corey Hart will be playing right field. Tony Graffinino at third. J.J. Hardy will be the shortstop. Ricky Weeks over at second base. Prince Fielder at first. Johnny Estrada, red hot with the bat, will be behind the plate today for the right-hander Dave Bush. See Dave Bush's numbers on the season last year. The ERA of 4.41. It should be pointed out his ERA as a starter was 4.25. He had a couple of relief appearances that bloated that overall ERA.
And the first pitch is a strike on Soriano. Speaking of bloated, did you have any brats?
I'm on the board. Yeah, I've had one so far. But it's early.
It was good.
It's early. I think I could do better.
The 0-1 to Soriano, swung on and missed. 2 strikes on the Cubs leadoff man. The umpires tonight, Tony Randazzo back of the plate. He was born in Chicago. Crew chief is Charlie Relaford. In the dirt, 1-2.
You'll notice that little hesitation, a little bit of a funky delivery from Dave Bush. We talked about it in the Cincinnati series. Pitchers will try to do things out there on the mound to disrupt the hitter's timing. And Bush has that little hesitation as he separates the ball from his glove.
Nice job by Soriano on the 1-2. It's a fair ball. He's hustling towards second. Head first on the slide, and he's safe with his second double of the year. Good start. It's exactly what the Cubs needed. I was talking with Jock Jones before the game, Bob. He said, if we can get a runner at second base, I like our chances. Right off the bat, he's at second with Jock coming up.
A little breaking ball in the outer part of the plate. Anything down is going to be a good pitch for Alfonso Soriano to hit, whether it's a fastball down, a breaking ball down, a splitter down. He loves pitches down there around the knees and even a little bit lower. That time he reached out over the outside part of the plate and hooked that curveball down into the left field corner.
So now it's Jones. Yeah, he was talking about having a lot of confidence in this offense's ability to score runs. A slow start in Cincinnati. And really, when you consider the Cubs scored just 7 times, they were fortunate to get 1 win in 3 tries. Way inside, and it hit him. And he's at first base. Derek Lee comes up with 2 on and nobody out.
The ball just continued to chase Jock out of that left-handed batter's box. He tries to get out of the way. Looked like it might have caught him on the back leg, the left leg. And then, as usual, the catcher takes the brunt of it. Anytime a batter gets nipped by a pitched ball, it usually gets the catcher worse than it gets the hitter.
A golden chance for the Cubs right off the top. Derek 1 for 5 yesterday, looking for his first career hit against Bush. He's 0 for 7. Fastball painted the outside corner. Doesn't always work out this way, but when you look at who you have to face the rest of the weekend, this is an important game for the Cubs offensively. They're going to face Ben Sheets and then Chris Capuano in the next 2 days. I'd like to really see them jump on Dave Bush tonight.
Well, a good opportunity here in the first inning. It's always good to get to that starter before he gets comfortable out there on the mound, before he finds his rhythm, finds that strike zone. A couple of runners on base right away, and now he's got to work his way through the teeth of the Cubs lineup.
A kick and a 1-1. There's a bouncer, backhanded play. Graffinino gets out at second. The relay's late, and they're at the corners with 1 out. It's a good play by Graffinino just to get 1 out. They could not turn 2, and Ramirez will come up in a pretty good RBI spot.
And a nice job by Jock Jones going hard into second base to ensure that Ricky Weeks was not able to turn that double play. With Derek Lee's speed, you have to believe he was going to beat it anyway, but Jock just wanted to make sure. That was a nice play by Graffinino. That ball looked like it might be headed for the corner, but cuts it off. Makes a good off-balance throw on to second base for the force out.
The Brewers want a double play. Ramirez with back-to-back 3-hit performances. He's 7 for 13. So he's the guy you want at the plate in this spot. Boy, I loved your point about really getting to a starter before he can settle in. That first inning sets a tone both ways. If a starter can go 1, 2, 3 in about 8 pitches, if he can jump on him, which the Cubs do. And now they look for crooked numbers after Ramirez puts them on the board. It's 1-0. Man, is he hot. 8 hits already. This is game 4.
And even the outs that he's made this year have been hard hit balls. Aramis Ramirez obviously seeing the ball as big as a beach ball up there. Of course, that ball's supposed to get hit. That is a belt high fastball down the middle of the plate. Just scalds it past J.J. Hardy at shortstop.
Second hit of the inning, and it's Cliff Floyd.
Well, when you're as hot as Aramis Ramirez, you want to hit every inning. And I'm sure Lou Piniella wouldn't mind that, because that means the Cubs are rolling around and sending a lot of hitters to the plate.
This is not a minor league B game in spring training where you could actually do that.
Lead off every inning.
A pitch to Floyd. Floater in for a strike. Second start for Floyd. He was announced yesterday as a pinch hitter, but then was removed as the Reds went with a left-handed pitcher, and Ronnie Cedeno batted instead. This will probably be the only time all year I guess the temperature correctly. It's exactly 60 degrees inside, and it's 30 outside. The 0-1 hit in the air to center. Bill Hall twisting and turning, and he can't get it. Lee's going to come around and score. Ramirez will hold at third. Now he's going to try to score. Here's the throw to the plate, and he's saved. Floyd to third. Oh, baby. 3-0. How about the hustle from Aramis Ramirez? And then Cliff Floyd with a heads-up play.
Well, Len, we talked about it all spring. His teammates were talking about Cliff Floyd and how hard he hits the baseball. This ball just locks up the center fielder. It's not unusual to see an infielder get locked up by a ball hit right at him on the button, but you rarely see a center fielder get turned around the way Bill Hall did. He went the wrong direction twice. And once again, Aramis Ramirez with strong legs underneath him here in the early going this season. Went hard from first to third when he saw the ball get away from the Brewers defensively. Came on home to score, and Cliff Floyd, running the bases with his head up, took the opportunity to get to third base. Well, that is the kind of aggressive base running you love to see.
It's going to be a double and an RBI, and an error on the throw by Bill Hall, who, like Alfonso Soriano, learning a new position.
You'll see Cliff Floyd. He's watching center field. He takes a look over to third base to see what's happening over there. When the ball gets away from the cutoff man, he's waiting to see if Ramirez is going to attempt to score, and because he was running with his head up, watching the play in front of him, that gave him the opportunity to advance to third.
Three to nothing. Field in a little bit against Michael with that runner at third and only one out. Well, we've run the gamut of base running. We showed you in the open the Cubs had a rough seventh inning yesterday, but they've done a nice job being aggressive tonight.
I think it's in their own best interest to bounce back after a rough day when they made some mistakes. As Michael Barrett lines one into center field, and another RBI.
And he's on the board. That's his first hit of the year, and he makes it count.
I was just about to say, after the mistakes they made in the ball game in Cincinnati, you don't want to come back the next ball game and make similar mistakes. Lou would have him out here about 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow working on base running, but some very heads-up aggressive base running here in the first inning today. That has to feel good for Michael Barrett. He's worked so hard on his offense. He's worked hard on his defense, but to finally get that first knock of the season and drive home a run on top of it.
4-0. 4 hits, a hit batter, and an error in the inning.
And other than the Soriano double to start the ball game, every hit has come on a fastball. Cubs are being very aggressive when Bush tries to get ahead with that heater.
DeRosa hit the first Cubs home run of the year yesterday. The guy behind him is Torres. Hit one off the yellow line out in right for a double. One ball, one strike, one out, runner at first. The Cubs have scored 4 times. RBI hits from Ramirez, Floyd, and Barrett. They were helped by an error from Bill Hall. A 1-1 on the way, and that moved DeRosa out of the batter's box.
I thought I'd get a reaction here at Miller Park, but that was just a breaking ball that got away from Dave Bush. Fortunately, DeRosa plenty of time to get out of the way. That's actually been his best out pitch last season and through the early part of spring training this year. That big curveball, but he just doesn't seem to have a good handle on it so far in the game today.
Missed again. 3 balls and a strike. So Rich Hill will have a big lead when he takes the mound. He may get an at bat the way things are going. He's in the hole at the moment. He'll be on deck after DeRosa bats. That's a strike. Late call from Tony Randazzo. 3-2. Rich doesn't know if he should get ready to hit or pitch. That's a good problem to have in the top of the first inning. Runner goes. High drive. Will hit deep left center. Toward the bullpen. And out. 2-run shot. And it's 6-0. I guess all Mark DeRosa needed was to get out of Arizona. He didn't hit for much power in spring training, but he has the only 2 Cubs home runs in the regular season. Why not wait until it counts?
Well, that's just a textbook at bat right there by Mark DeRosa. Hitters are taught to look for the fastball and adjust to anything else you see. He's looking for a fastball, gets that hanging breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. He's able to slow his swing down just enough and then really explode on the ball. I don't need to tell Cub fans how well the ball carries here at Miller Park, and that one got easily into the bullpen.
Cesar's Torres cranks one deep to right center. Off the bottom of the wall for Cesar. Slides in with a double, his 3rd double in 2 days. They are pouring it on against Dave Bush, and there is action in the Milwaukee bullpen. 6-0, and the pitcher's coming up with still only 1 out.
Well, this is the time the pitching coach makes a trip to the mound and says, geez, walk somebody, will you? Every time he throws the ball over the plate, the Cubs hitters are just teeing it up. As Torres gets on the hit parade, a fastball out over the plate, about knee high, hooks it back to right field with authority. Let's see how Lou wants to play it here with Rich Hill. Normally this would be a bunting situation, but the way the Cubs have been swinging the bat here in the first inning, he might turn Rich Hill loose. No sign of a bunt there.
Well, before a series, you talk with the other team's broadcasters, you compare notes, and the one note we had for them was this team's not hitting. Scratch that.
They think we're liars.
They're hitting now. Swing and a miss. Wow, 6 big ones. And Soriano's on deck. He began it all with a double. Well, I mentioned a conversation I had with Jock Jones about getting guys into scoring position. Flared foul. Very specifically said, you get a runner at second base with this offense, we'll knock him in. Done.
And it has to be a concern anytime you see an offense tee off on a pitcher like the way the Cubs have to Dave Bush tonight. You have to wonder he's not doing something out there to tip his pitches. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of video work done after this ball game.
He pitched well last year against the Cubs. He had a 3.03 ERA.
He hasn't fooled anybody with anything. Now certainly the location of his pitches has a lot to do with how hard he's been hit up to this point, but Cubs hitters haven't even been fooled by his off-speed stuff.
Swing and a miss. That's the second out. And it'll bring up Soriano for the second time. Leadoff double, and then he scored on the Ramirez single. Runner at second, 6 hits in the inning and 6 runs for the Cubs. Laid off the breaking ball, ball 1. Dale Swaim, the bench coach, on the left. Ned Yost, the Brewers manager, on the right. They're not too happy at the moment. Popped him up behind first base, and it's Prince Fielder over in foul ground, and he makes a catch. That ends a big inning for the Cubs. 6 runs. So Rich Hill will go to work when we come back to Milwaukee.
I don't think you're supposed to put coins in there.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines from Chicago Midway to Baltimore, Washington, or Dulles International for just $59 one way. Purchased by May 17th.
You are now free to move about the country.
One day you find it's not business as usual. Your hair is gray, and you wonder, will people still see me as a valuable player? Is my career going down? How do you stop that?
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy, with 5-minute target gray technology.
Now doors are opening, and you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
Why does that bother you?
Why does it bother me? So easy a caveman can do it?
Well, it's just a commercial.
Okay. Well, what if it said, Geico.com, so easy a therapist can do it?
Well, that commercial wouldn't make sense to me.
Why not?
Well, therapists
are what? Smart? My mother's calling. I'll put it on speaker.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, the Brewers averaged 5 runs a game, winning 2 and 3 against the Dodgers. Here's how they'll line up. Weeks, Hardy, Fielder, very good infield. Bill Hall now in center. Johnny Estrada, the catcher. Kevin Mench is in left. Corey Hart in right. Tony Graffanillo, the veteran, at third. And Dave Bush bats ninth.
And here's how the Cubs take the field defensively tonight. Brought to you by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. Cliff Floyd, Alfonso Soriano, and Jock Jones across the outfield. Ramirez is tourist. The red-hot Mark DeRosa at second base. Derek Lee over at first. Michael Barrett behind the plate for the left-hander, Rich Hill.
And Rich Hill's first pitch of the 07 season is low on Ricky Weeks. Rich had such a great finish last year, and you mentioned the 0 walks in spring training. That is exactly what you want to see. And fastball for a strike. 1-1 the count on Ricky Weeks.
And now more than ever, your team spots you a 6-run lead in the first inning. Just go out there and throw strikes. The worst thing that can happen is to issue some free passes and have somebody in the middle of this Brewers lineup hit a ball in the seats, and suddenly they feel like they're right back in the ball game.
Foul back. Our gun may be a little slower than the gun they have here at Miller Park. We've been at 86, 88. The first 3 pitches from Rich Hill. They've had 90 up on the board, so upper 80s, maybe 90 from Rich Hill, who will get up into the low 90s with his fastball and has that beautiful big breaking curve. Works from the far third base side of the rubber, and the 1-2 pitch struck him out on the curveball. Well, that's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've compared it favorably to the Barry Zito curveball. It just seems to drop out of the sky. A lot of late break, very tight rotation. That's what allows that ball to break so late in the hitting zone. We talk about sinker ball pitchers who get a lot of ground balls because the ball is moving down. The batter usually hits the top half of the baseball. The same can be said for that curve. When he keeps it down in the bottom part of the strike zone, he should get a lot of ground balls and, of course, a lot of swings and misses.
Now the shortstop, J.J. Hardy. The Brewers need to keep their double play combo healthy. A wrist injury for Weeks last year, an ankle injury for Hardy. Corey Koski still not back from the post-concussion syndrome, so they have a platoon at third. Graffinino against lefties. Craig Counsell against righties. Hit deep, and Soriano's going to go back, and he will have just enough room. That's a nice catch by Soriano. Probably his biggest test to date, as he had to run a long way to go get it on the warning track.
As you well know, Len, there are a lot of scouts at the ballpark every day in the lunchroom before the ball game. I had a chance to talk to a couple of the advanced scouts today about Soriano in center field, and they have no doubts this guy is not only going to be an adequate center fielder, but he's going to be a good center fielder. He's got great speed, great baseball instincts. Of course, it's going to take a little while to adjust to Wrigley Field and the nuances of the wind and the sun and the day games, but they're all very confident that Soriano is very quickly going to become one of the best center fielders in the National League.
Fielder with a one-hop rocket handled by his tourist. Nice play. Inning over. Oh, that shutdown inning. You love to see it from your pitcher. After the Cubs gave him 6 runs at the top of the inning.
You're messing with the wrong guy.
We're up to 1 million hits. Sweet. Who is it?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, right.
Separate yourself from the herd. The innovative Ridgeline from Honda.
I'm Cindy Present, and this is where it hurts, right in my knees. A friend of mine called and said, hey, Alev's in town, and they're looking for some active women who had experienced some pain. I was like, that is all about me. I've definitely experienced pain. Teaching kids to ski is extremely physical. You're actually a jungle gym floating in the water. The pain in my knees feels like bee stings. I tried the Aleve liquid gels. They took my pain away quite immediately. I spent time with my 8-year-old out in the water yesterday. I took Aleve when we came in. I didn't have any of the knee pain I usually experience. I have a lot of active friends, and I would definitely recommend Aleve liquid gel.
If a Cubs player hits a homer today, write down the distance and player's name and send it to WGN TV. You could win 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
This is a sex line?
Margaret's got a hang-up with her new job.
You can clear $500 a night. Hi.
Next, Becker.
Tonight at 12:30 Eastern.
After a very brief break, the offense goes back to work. Nice job by Rich Hill. A quick 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. Dave Bush got through it eventually, but gave up 6 big ones. 9 pitches for Hill in the first. That's exactly what you want. It was Michael Barrett, right, who talked about time of possession last weekend.
Yeah.
It was a great line. And boy, if you can continue to put pressure on that pitcher, don't give him any sort of breather, and the pitcher for your staff can really help in that department. The wind of the 1-1 to Jock is inside. He got hit by a pitch in the last inning. They give him a lot of room in right center. All shaded toward the gap in left center. Minch, Graffinino, and it's a third baseman to take care of it just in front of the tarp. Won't need the tarp tonight. We were laughing about Old County Stadium and how cold a place that was. It was a nice park and you know, fan friendly. The broadcast booth was in a great position, but on a night like this, it would have felt like 5 degrees.
Makes me cold just thinking about it. The chicken wire and corrugated tin, and standing water in places there shouldn't have been standing water.
White Sox game tonight against the Twins postponed due to the cold weather. They have not set a makeup date. Cubs will be back home for the opener at Wrigley on Monday. It's going to be cold. Hope to get into the low 40s on Monday. Swing and a miss. 1-1. We'll have it for you right here on WGN Sports. 12:30 with Next Year Is Here. First pitch will be around 1:20. One offering. Bush with a unique delivery in that he takes the ball out of the glove pretty early. There pops a mitt, takes it out. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, it certainly is unorthodox, but really I don't see any problem with it as long as he keeps his glove up in a position where the batter can't see the grip on the baseball as he takes the ball out of his glove, and it appears he does that.
Drilled into the gap for Derek Lee. This should be extra bases. Well, the Cubs with 5 extra base hits in that series in Cincinnati. They have 5 already tonight. 4 doubles and a home run in the first 2 innings.
Well, history is not holding true here for Dave Bush tonight. Last year he was 3-7 with an ERA of almost 5.5 on the road. Was really good here at Miller Park. 9-4 with an ERA of 3.5. But Cubs are seeing to it that those numbers don't repeat, at least for tonight.
Well, Lou is hoping that tonight would be the night. Perfect weather conditions. The Cubs had a workout before the game today, about an hour. Took some extra BP. Worked on their outfield play defensively as well. And he said generally 1 out of every 3 days they'll come out early around 2:30. Do some extra hitting on the road. It's a little tougher to do it at home with all the day games. Foul ball right off the mask of Johnny Estrada. He's wearing the hockey mask. It was pretty loud. It's Retro Friday. You know, notice the Brewers have the old school pinstripe uniforms on. And it is Charlie Moore mini bobblehead night as they honor the 25th anniversary of the '82 Brewers who went to the World Series.
So much plastic on those new hockey style catcher's masks. That's what makes that loud crack when they get hit with a foul tip. Michael Barrett has gone back to the old school mask, wearing the helmet and the old birdcage mask on top of the helmet.
Well, Charlie Moore didn't have the opportunity to wear that hockey mask when he played. Now, what does your son Michael wear? Does he wear that mask?
Yeah, he wears one like that, and I tried to get him to change to the old school mask this offseason, but he just once you get used to the hockey style mask, the visibility is so much better. You have a lot of peripheral vision.
Got him. Called strike 3.
Mears looks at a slider down at the knees. Catchers will tell you that once you use that hockey mask, your vision is so much better, so much improved. You can see off to the side, whereas the old masks, they don't lend themselves well to peripheral vision. You have to turn your whole head to look to the right and to the left. The first good slider we've seen from Dave Bush in this ballgame. He's mostly been fastball and the big overhand curve, but that time found the zone with the slider.
Floyd bats with 2 outs. And the pitch. Cliff lost the bat on that swing. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, you hope that's just a case of not enough pine tar on the batting gloves. When you see a batter take this kind of swing and lose the bat, you're always concerned of some kind of hand or wrist injury. Looked like the bottom hand came off.
Ooh, I think he hit himself in the back of the left leg. And a backswing after he lost his grip. High bouncer backs up fielder into the grass, and the throw is just in time. Good hustle by Floyd, but Bush able to get there first. A double, but they strand one. 6-0 Cubs.
Okay, now what? Rock, paper, scissors for it? Okay, that's fair. On 3? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
I threw paper.
I threw a rock.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Low 5.
Oh, give it back!
What's going on here?
Josh stole my Kit Kat Blizzard, and he won't give it back!
Josh.
Dad!
That's awesome!
Dad!
Sure you don't want
Hey! Hang on to yours. The new Kit Kat Blizzard at Dairy Queen. Real chunks of Kit Kat chocolate bars and our famous DQ soft serve. Do one.
Through the years, many things pass from father to son, like Aqua Velva Aftershave. Smells great, cools, firms, and tones. Cool. Aqua Velva, men get it.
Saturdays at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
All right, Real Fans Road Trip with Len and Bob. Go Cubs. Love WGN. 6-0. Bottom 2. Hall, Estrada, and Mensch against the left-hander Rich Hill. Well, this is the year of the converted center fielder. It's really amazing. Soriano for the Cubs, Hall for the Brewers, Ichiro for Seattle, Chris Burke going to play center field full time with Houston. You had Griffey going from center to right with the Reds. And a strike. Some may wonder why didn't Bill Hall just go to third base. Well, they had a surplus of infielders. Didn't know when Corey Koski was going to be back, and they have a pretty good prospect named Ryan Braun, who may be ready soon to take over the hot corner. He's trying to shore up his defense in the minor leagues. But Bill Hall, like Soriano, very good athlete, has played a lot of different positions. You just want him to be okay in center and to hit. And it's interesting, the two center fielders in this ballgame tonight very well could lead their teams in home runs. Not going to hit one that time. He's rung up by Rich Hill for the first out.
Rich Hill with a good fastball tonight. He threw a first pitch fastball to Bill Hall, who's a really good fastball hitter. He fouled it off to the first base side, and then in the 2-strike count just blows a heater right by him on the outside corner. Doesn't even get a check swing.
Now, does he freeze a guy like that because of the curveball in your estimation? Do you think he was waiting on a curveball, or just didn't think it was a strike?
He might have thought it was a little bit away, but that curveball definitely plants a seed in your mind. I mean, you sit in the clubhouse before the ball game and watch videotape of the opposing pitcher, and I'm sure as the Brewers hitters walked away from their advance meeting, they were all thinking about that big curveball.
Popped up by Estrada with the old school look in the stirrups. And Lee makes a catch. That 80s look going. Tickets are still available for Cub home games on weekdays in April and May, even in the bleachers. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. 14 of 16 at home starting Monday. Now Kevin Mensch. Brewers, like the Cubs, really have 4 starting outfielders for 3 spots. And the one guy not in their lineup tonight is Jeff Jenkins. He has gone back from right to left. Mensch can play both corners. Corey Hart out in right, and we talked about Bill Hall in center field.
Now, Rich Hall is the kind of left-handed pitcher that will send the left-handed hitters to the bench. If a manager has an opportunity to rest a regular player who bats from the left side or has a platoon at a position, you're going to see the right-handed hitters against Rich Hill.
Called strike 3. 6 up, 6 down for the lefties. 6-0 Cubs.
You're messing with the wrong guy.
We're up to 1 million hits. Sweet. Who is it?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, right.
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help with bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace, your place, with everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. Ace,
the helpful place.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2-meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2-meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2-meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
Lizzie McGuire celebrates life as a teenager, where anything and everything could go wrong. But with the help of her family and friends, everything will be all right.
Yeah, right.
It's where school, cool, and exciting adventures are just around the corner.
1 out of 3 isn't so bad.
Get inside her head. Lizzie McGuire. Weekday afternoons on Superstation WGN.
6-0. 3rd inning from Milwaukee. Cubs have won 6 of their last 8 against Milwaukee. They split the season set last year 8 apiece, and the all-time series, the Cubs lead by a game 70-69. Barrett with an RBI single, his first of the year, and 12 at bats, so he's 1 for 12. And then scored on the DeRosa home run. Low and outside. Well, the Brewers had action in their bullpen in each of the first 2 innings. Bush trying to settle down and at least give Ned Yost some innings. They had an off day yesterday, so they are rested out there, but no manager wants to take his starter out in the second or third inning. Leadoff walk, good start for the Cubs. That's the first walk issued by Bush. Then it's DeRosa, and it seems as though his home runs come in bunches. He has hit 40 career home runs, and 17 of those home runs have come in back-to-back games. Now, he hit one yesterday and another one today. So I guess when he gets hot, he stays hot with the power.
We talked about the bottom of this Cubs order, starting from Michael Barrett on down, 6, 7, 8 hitter. That's the area of the lineup where Lou likes to play a little bit of hit and run. But I think with the way the Cubs have been swinging the bats tonight and the 6-run early lead, we're probably just going to see a lot of free swinging from this point on. Should the Brewers creep back into this ball game, then you have to push some buttons over there as a manager. But with a big lead early, you just let your guys swing the bats. You mentioned the home run yesterday in Cincinnati for Mark DeRosa. The first homer by a Cub this year came on a fastball inside deep left center field. The area of the ballpark where the ball was not carrying well, and then the home run tonight was on a hanging curveball into the bullpen in left center field.
Former starting quarterback at Penn. And he chased and strikes out.
I didn't see that pitch on the monitor, but I'd be willing to guess that's a slider, just judging from the swing. A little slider on the outside part of the plate. DeRosa started after that ball as if he thought it was going to be a fastball, and it just moved down and away from him, and you saw him try to extend that swing just to get a piece of that pitch.
As Torres has had a very good start at the plate, real good spring, and he's continued it on. There's 3 doubles among his 5 hits in 12 tries. And we've pounded home this point. Any offense you get from Cesar, you gladly take. But his main job is to play Gold Glove caliber defense. He's a career .259 hitter. Laced toward left, sliding catch by Mensch. And Michael back into first. Kevin Mensch with a nice play. And there are 2 outs.
That ball struck well, just maybe a little bit too well. It carried all the way out to Kevin Mensch in left field, who makes a nice sliding catch, gets quickly to his feet. Fortunately, does not have a strong throwing arm. If he were able to throw that ball all the way to first base, there was a chance for a double play right there.
Rich Hill skies it out to Mensch. And the easiest inning for Bush. Gave up the leadoff walk, but no runs. Still 6-0.
The location of a nuclear bomb is discovered, yet the threat is far from over.
Have your team ready to move on my signal?
Now Jack braces for a fight to seize the weapon.
Keep your hands up!
Only to discover the countdown is on.
Are you going to be able to disarm it?
Doesn't look good.
Next 24, Saturday at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
Oh, honey, I told the neighbors we'd feed their pets while they're away.
Oh, okay, sweetie. Oh, no. Ooh.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet specials, you can fly from Chicago Midway to select cities in the Midwest for just $49 one way. Purchased by April 12th.
You are now free to move about the country.
I've been in this room before.
What?
I've been here before.
Yeah. You took the virtual tour at Hotels.com?
Right.
Want to check out your hotel before you check in? Send in the experts at Hotels.com. They check out thousands of hotels and bring you tools like virtual tours so you can look before you book. Log on or call now to find great deals everywhere. Hotels.com. We know hotels inside and out.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, Why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
Book your next group function at Wrigley Field. For group outings of 20 or more, contact the Chicago Cubs Group Sales Office at 773-404-CUBS, or for more information, visit Cubs.com. Bottom 3 in the Brewers order against Rich Hill, who has 3 strikeouts. 6 runs all in the first inning for the Northsiders. Soriano giving chase. It's slicing, and Soriano caught it. Looked like Jock was going to take it at the last second. But the Fonz, as they call him, made the catch. Boy, good thing he caught it, and a really good thing they didn't collide.
Well, that ball was tailing back toward Jock Jones. That's why he continued to go after that ball. We've talked about it many times. The center fielder is the captain of the outfield, and you can see Jock Jones give way at the last instant because Soriano called for the ball, makes the snow cone catch, Willie Mays style out there in right center field. Well, you could clearly see Soriano saying, I got it, I got it, I got it, and Jock Jones heard him just in time to duck out of the way and let Soriano make the play.
1-1 on veteran third baseman Tony Graffinino. Curveball dipped a little too low in the zone. Popped up. DeRosa with a catch. Well, the Brewers have new base coaches, and one of those guys is Ed Cedar, their first base coach. He's from Waukegan, Illinois. He's been in the Brewers organization since 1992, and he was the rookie ball manager of Jeff Jenkins. So welcome to the big leagues, Ed Cedar from Waukegan. Former Phillies manager Nick Leyva is their third base coach. Dale Swaim was their third base coach, but after Robin Yount quit for family reasons, Swaim went into the dugout. Do you think Robin will come back at some point full time again?
Well, I certainly hope so. I think the game of baseball would benefit from having Robin Yount affiliated in any way, shape, or form. Just a tremendous icon of the game. He was such a tremendous player. He has so much to offer to young players, and you know, I think once he gets his family situated and gets his children off and on their own, I think there's a real good chance we'll see Robin back in uniform someday. I certainly hope so.
The 1-2 to the pitcher. Flared. Soriano, though, will get there as it held up. First time through the order, no problem for Rich Hill. 6-0 Cubs.
This new fridge has a touchscreen. I get internet, TV. The coolest part of it is when it's out of Bud Light, it refills itself.
How does it do that?
I don't know.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
I don't know how it does it, and I don't care.
Chase Freedom. It feels like no other credit card in the world. And it works like no other card, too. Feel free to choose cash back. And then change to points. And then change again, all with the same card and without losing a thing. That's freedom. Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
The very thought of you
and I forget to do the little ordinary thing.
Armor All Wax, wipes, and tire shines. Go ahead, stare.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
A little high five, Soriano and the pitcher Hill, and Alfonso going to discuss things with Jock Jones as they still kind of adjust to playing with one another in the same outfield.
Well, it's just a matter of communication. Obviously, you want all your defensive players to be aggressive in going after those tweeners, and the key is just to make sure you talk.
Barrel of the bat went out toward Graffinino. The ball went past Mike Quaddy, the third base coach, and luckily everybody's okay. Well, look at that.
Boy, the way that bat broke, you almost feel like it was probably cracked before he made contact with the ball. When it splits like this, I mean, from just below the trademark all the way up through the end of the barrel, right down the middle. That happens a lot more than you would realize. A player goes to the plate with a bat that was cracked in the at-bat before, and they don't realize it. Use it again in the next at-bat, and sometimes even more at-bats before it finally breaks.
One and one on Soriano.
Now, one guy I know that never had an at bat with a cracked bat was Pete Rose. The hit king, after every ball game, would take rubbing alcohol and clean the barrel of his bat so he could see where the ball marks were when he made contact with a pitch. And in the process of doing that, cleaning off the bat head and getting it ready for the next day, he always inspected it to make sure there were no hairline cracks in the bat.
One out, and it's Jock Jones. Was that your MO as well, or just knock it on the dugout step?
If it was in one piece, it was good enough to hit with. You know, I like a lot of fans out there, when I was a kid, it wasn't unusual to put wood screws in a bat and wrap electrical tape around it, so I was very familiar with using cracked bats, and just continued that through my major league career, as my .248 batting average would attest.
Well, it bears repeating, your final big league home run was in Milwaukee off Mark Knudsen in 1989. 3-1. So it's Derek Lee with the last Cubs hit, a double in the second. Did you catch any highlights of Dice K in his debut yesterday in Kansas City?
I read some of the comments in the various sports pages, but I didn't actually see the videotape. I heard it was very impressive.
10 strikeouts as he got the win. There's no doubt at some point the league's hitters will have enough videotape to catch up to him a little bit. But if he's on, I wouldn't doubt that he'll just run through April without losing. I mean, he looked that good. Nothing he threw was straight. He had a lot of good command, and he had a fastball that just seemed to explode up and away to left-handed hitters right at the plate.
And reading some of the comments of the hitters who faced him, said he changed speeds as well. He didn't just stand out there and pound fastballs at the same speed. His breaking balls, he changed speeds on. And if you can do that and still keep the ball in or around the strike zone, you're going to be very effective.
Well, it seemed as though there was only one start, and I didn't see the whole game, but he has a good idea of the corners, but also the vertical part of the strike zone. He's able to work down and then rise that fastball way up. Got a swing and a miss on a strikeout, a pitch that was over a guy's head, it looked like. 1-2 on Lee, and the pitch. Now it's even, 2-2. Well, tonight Rich Hill is Been terrific early on. Dave Bush really got knocked around in the first inning, but he settled down. Wade Miller in front there talking with Ted Lilly. Wade will pitch on Sunday. That'll get over Hardy. And Derek is 2 out of 3. Miller, the 5th starter. He'll pitch after Carlos Zambrano tomorrow. And Ted Lilly with the lone Cubs win Wednesday night. That was the best part of that series, I think, is the 2 new guys in the rotation. Lilly and Marquis both pitched well enough to win. Lilly did, Marquis did not.
We mentioned all the time about players coming to a new ball club, and you want to fit in right away. You want to go out there on the field and do what it is you're good at and have your teammates accept you and understand how you fit in as part of a team. But when you think about a starting pitcher, you have to sit for 4 days before you have an opportunity to go back out and do it again. So really important that those 2 guys got off to good starts.
Yeah, the best way to get teammates on your side is go out and deal.
Yeah.
Kind of a similar demeanor with Wade Miller and Ted Lilly. Both pretty quiet guys off the field.
They're standing next to each other down there, but I don't know if they're talking. They're just communicating telepathically because both are men of very few words.
Two strikes on Ramirez. Something has to give in Houston tonight. The Cardinals and Astros both 0-3. And St. Louis has a 3-0 lead in the 4th inning. Cardinals got swept by the Mets at home. Houston by the Pirates. Awkward swing, and Ramirez strikes out for the 2nd time. It's 6-0 Cubs after 3.5.
The Cubs take on Milwaukee's best in a second-day showdown. It's Game 2 of the border battle. Chicago looks to pour it on at Miller Park. Cubs, Brewers, Saturday at 1 Eastern on Superstation WGN. America's funniest home videos, weeknights on Superstation WGN.
What up, P?
Yo, I got an idea.
Single again. Will I still look eligible with gray hair? Is that all people will see? How do you make a clean break?
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy with 5-minute Target Gray technology.
Dating again is easier than I thought. And you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
Allergies? Chlortrimeton. Hey, 1 dose of this, 6-hour relief. Chlortrimeton relieves itchy, watery eyes and sneezing for 12 full hours with less drowsiness than Benadryl. It does all that? Chlortrimeton, less drowsy relief that lasts 12 hours.
Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat. Oops. Take a break and head to Dairy Queen for the new Kit Kat Blizzard. Loaded with real chunks of Kit Kat candy bars and our creamy DQ soft serve. Do one.
7 runs in the first series at Cincinnati. 6 runs in the first inning tonight for the Cubs. And Hill facing Ricky Weeks. A 1-0 from Hill, fouled back, 1-1. Hey, Cub fans, you got to check out our baseball blog on WGNTV.com all season long. And up on the blog tonight, I have a post about playing inside in the temperature-controlled climate of Miller Park. We have a minor league report, our first of the year, featuring some good news regarding Ryne Sandberg and his Peoria Chiefs. They're in Wisconsin this weekend. Game notes from our friends at Stats Inc. And if you missed our opening day special, a couple of video links on the blog you have to check out as well. WGNTV.com. One and two on Weeks. Here comes Hill again. Breaking ball, bounced foul. You got a big opening day home opener blog special, I know, geared up.
I'll tell you, this cold weather early in the season just makes me feel like blogging. I can't explain it. Too cold to go outside, so you might as well log on.
Wide and Weeks. Did he check it? No, he went around. Number 4 for Hill.
You talked about Dice K with the Boston Red Sox not only going in and out but up and down. When you can command your pitches in all areas of the strike zone and just out of the strike zone, you'll get some funny looking check swings. That time Ricky Weeks just not able to hold up on that letter high fastball.
Well, they talk so much about changing the eye level. The other thing Rich Hill does, he's 6'5" and he pitches like he's 6'5", and you don't always see that.
Stands tall on the mound, really uses that leverage. Talked a lot about Ted Lilly in his first start of the year and how well he hides the ball. Really makes his fastball look much better. It's tougher for the hitters to identify pitches because the ball seems to be on them so quickly. And Rich Hill with that long arm span, he cocks that right elbow high in the air, really hides the ball well from the hitter.
Rich had been bothered a little bit by a finger blister on his middle finger. Flared up in his last Cactus League start, resurfaced on Sunday, but got through it. Really felt it on his fastball. With no problem tonight. Pulled foul past Leyva. Our producer tonight, of course, is Pete Toma. Skip Ellison, our director. Mark Brady, our associate producer. We can have our executive producer on hand, Bob Vorwald, our pod father as well. And our great WGN Sports crew. It's fouled back. We'll be podcasting throughout the year once again as well. WGNTV.com. Go check it out. Happy, smiley Len and Bob.
Just happy I have the right shirt on.
0-2 hit high and deep. Jones is coming over in the alley. He has it. 2 down with Fielder coming up.
Well, you hold your breath anytime a ball is hit firmly in the air here at Miller Park. We talked about it briefly back in that first inning. Very, very much a hitter's ballpark. Really good batter's eye out there in center field. Ball seems to jump, especially with the roof open, but jumping pretty good tonight too.
Prince Fielder with nobody on. Alan Trammell was a teammate for a long time in Detroit with Cecil Fielder, Prince's father. And Alan told me today when Prince was 12, he was hitting balls out of Tiger Stadium. 12. Now, of course, they had the short porch in right, but 12.
And most kids, when they're 12 years old, would be glad to get a ball out of a major league infield.
I didn't ask Tram if he had a wooden bat. Soriano and Jones have been busy tonight, and it's Soriano in center. That's out number 3. How about Rich Hill? 6-0 Cubs.
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help with bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace, your place, with everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. Ace,
the helpful place.
For years, man has known about the advantage of twin blades.
Smooth.
Now there's the twin blade advantage from Honda. Twin blades mean finer clippings when mulching to feed your lawn. They also mean more bagging capacity and less emptying. And of course, Honda means it's built to last. The twin blade advantage, exclusively on Honda mowers.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
It's America's favorite teen queen, Lizzie McGuire. Weekday afternoons, only on Superstation WGN. She's perfect, he's a pest, and they're getting even. Even Stevens, weekday afternoons on Superstation WGN.
Cubs 6, Brewers nothing. You think that was hand crocheted?
Yeah, if it was, that's an outstanding job.
Floyd, Barrett, and DeRosa due up against Dave Bush. Dave Bush was a workhorse last year, 210 innings, 3 complete games. He led their staff with 12 wins. Went into the year as a 5th starter. The 1-0 to Floyd. They've got the big pull shift on. Hardy joining Weeks and Fielder on the right side.
Big pull shift on the infield. However, the outfielder's playing pretty much straight up. Bill Hall maybe a step or two over into the gap in right center, but they're playing him pretty honest in the outfield. And of course, this is a byproduct of the defensive spray charts that all the coaching staffs have access to. Where does a guy hit the ball in certain counts, certain pitches? And then you position your defense accordingly. And if your pitcher executes the pitches he's supposed to, more often than not, you're going to find that guy hitting the ball into the teeth of the defense. Of course, that can get quickly messed up if a pitcher doesn't throw the ball where he's supposed to. You play your defense this way and then throw Cliff Floyd fastballs off the plate away, he's likely to line one down that third baseline for extra bases.
You also can't put an infielder in the upper deck beyond the right field fence. So it behooves you to try to coax a ground ball. The 2-2 to Floyd. Got him. That was a nasty pitch.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports from Milwaukee is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Big crowd tonight. Nearing a sellout. It'll be probably over 40,000 tomorrow. Sounds like they still have a lot of tickets available for Sunday, Easter Sunday. But we know we're going to play all 3 with the roof closed. Barrett bounces it foul past third base. And all we care about Monday and really the entire upcoming homestand is it stays dry. Really looking forward to the ovation Lou Piniella gets before the ball game Monday against Houston. And all the new guys, Soriano, DeRosa, Lilly, Marquis, Derek Lee healthy. And Michael went around, not by much, as he pulled his arms in and he strikes out. It was an emergency swing that he probably won't want to see on video again.
And a 2-strike count, most hitters will tell you they look away and try to just protect inside. Battle on any pitch that's on the inside part of the plate. And that time, Michael tried to pull his hands in close and just get a piece of it, but blew it right on by him.
One and nothing on DeRosa. Capped the first inning by hitting a 2-run homer. I want to send out condolences to the family of Bill Holt, lifelong Cubs fan from Muskegon, Michigan, who passed away recently. And DeRosa asks for time. Al Russert watching the ball game tonight. Cal of Florida. And a happy 16th birthday to Ken Willems, Cub fan from Green Bay, Wisconsin, who's in the ballpark tonight wearing his Carlos Zambrano jersey. Carlos will pitch tomorrow against Ben Sheets. And we'll have it for you. Going to be a noon start.
That's one of those matchups, at least on paper, you can't help but look forward to watching those two guys hook up. Ben Sheets with a 103 pitch complete game on opening day. And appears to be healthy for the first time in a number of years.
Inside to even it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count.
Well, I think 2 factors in Dave Bush settling down in this ball game. He started to use his fastball inside more to the Cub hitters, and he's had better command of his curveball. He hung a lot of breakers right over the heart of the plate in that first inning, and just about every fastball he threw was from the middle of the plate away. And as we've seen in this inning, came inside hard on Michael Barrett, came inside hard there to Mark DeRosa the pitch before.
Another 2-2 is bounded to third. Graffinino across, close, and they get him. DeRosa hustling, as we've seen all the Cubs base runners doing early on in the season. 6-0.
Welcome to California.
We cruise.
We fly.
We run.
We go with the flow.
We let go.
And we believe one simple thing.
That every day in California is your lucky day.
Is your lucky day. So there's just one thing you have to ask yourself.
How fast can you get here?
Find yourself in California. Fly Southwest Airlines from Chicago Midway to cities in California for just $129 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
Presenting Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. So revolutionary, it targets and kills the toughest weeds without harming your lawn. Ortho Weed Be Gone sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer here. Only Ortho Weed Be Gone has a foaming action and weed targeting formula for total root kill. So it killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer killed everything. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. Kills weeds, not lawns. Guaranteed. Now available with new crabgrass control.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
Switch to Valvoline's Max Life, and there's no telling how long your car will keep going. Max Life not only protects against friction, but also leaks, deposits, and sludge, the 4 major causes of high-mileage engine breakdown. Long live your car.
America's funniest home videos, weeknights on Superstation WGN.
Great hustle by Mark DeRosa, made what looked like a very routine play pretty close.
Well, and I can't tell you how much pressure this puts on opposing defenses when they know that every hitter in that lineup is going to be busting down that line as hard as they can go. And you can see Mark DeRosa didn't run to the bag at first base. He ran through the bag, leaning forward as he made contact with the base. It gives the illusion that your upper body is further ahead than your legs are. And sometimes that can deceive an umpire a little bit, but great hustle by all the Cubs base runners so far this season.
Rich Hill has not had to pitch from the stretch. He has struck out 4 through 4. And a 1-1 to Bill Hall. Hall was late. The fastball at 88, and he couldn't catch up to it.
Through the first 4 innings, 42 pitches total for Rich Hill. 32 of those strikes. Very efficient.
The light just really seemed to go on when he came back for the final time last year. Foul tipped into the glove. Strikeout number 5. And I said this a couple times last year, but when you think about his minor league numbers and the kind of stuff Rich has and how smart he is, it was really more surprising that he struggled so much early on. Now, I didn't know he was going to be as good as he was at the end of last year, but it seemed like once he found a little success, it just snowballed. And he's doing to major league hitters what he had done to minor league hitters throughout his career. Estrada on 1 pitch is out, 2 down.
Well, Lennon, I think really a lot of Rich Hill's early success here in his career has to do with confidence. As you mentioned, the first time around, it's not unusual for a guy to question his own ability and question whether he belongs in the big leagues. But with pitches like this that we saw in the second half of the season last year and throughout spring training this year, there's no question that Rich Hill now has the confidence that he belongs here and he can compete at this level.
Facing Kevin Mensch, who swings at the first pitch again. Well, the last 2 hitters of the inning out on 1 pitch each. No base runners for the Brewers through 5 at 6-0.
The location of a nuclear bomb is discovered, yet the threat is far from over.
Have your team ready to move on my signal?
Now Jack braces for a fight to seize the weapon.
Keep your hands up!
Only to discover the countdown is on.
Are you going to be able to disarm it?
Doesn't look good. Next 24, Saturday at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
Okay, I've been working on this plan for 3 years, and today's the day.
Okay.
Every Friday, the same Bud Light delivery guy takes the same route past us.
Okay.
You're the only one who can make the leap.
Okay.
When I say go, you jump over, grab some Bud Light, and jump back.
Okay.
Okay, here he comes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and go.
What'd you say?
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Seriously, what'd you say?
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in 1 disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
The very thought of you, and I forget to do the little ordinary thing.
Armor All Wax,
that
wipes, and tire shines. Go ahead, stare.
Well, you had the blister and the fact that Rich hadn't made a start against big league hitters in 10 days. You'd never know it.
And of course, anytime a blister is any kind of a factor for a pitcher, the fewer pitches he has to throw, the less chance of that blister becoming a problem again. And Brewers really did him a favor in that last half inning. As you mentioned, the last 2 outs of the inning coming on 2 pitches.
48 on the night through 5. Two and 1 on his Torres. He's hit the ball hard twice, a double, and then he lined to left his last time up. The starting pitcher sets a tone to the point where it could be 2-0 and it might feel like 7-0 the way Rich has pitched. You don't want to stop adding offense, certainly, but Mensch won't have room. Nicely done.
Now you bring up a good point, Len. The score is not always the big determining factor in whether you feel you're being dominated or not. And at least through the early going, Dave Bush was dominated in that first inning by the Cubs offense, but he settled in quite nicely, and Rich Hill settled in right from the beginning of this ball game. mean, you can have a 0 on the scoreboard, but every out is a rocket line drive at somebody, and as an offense, you feel like you're very, very close to breaking through as Torres takes a look at strike 3.
Number 53, the pitcher, Rich Hill.
So Hill bats with 1 out. He's 0 for 2. I hope he goes 0 for 5 tonight. Swing and a miss. Remember Clay Hensley last year? He went 0 for 5 against the Cubs because he pitched the whole game.
And if your number 9 hitter in the lineup's getting 5 at bats, it means your team's scoring a bunch of runs for you.
Bobbled by fielder and Bush covering, and they get the out. Hey, music fan, singer-songwriter Josh Kelly will be at the House of Blues Chicago on Wednesday, April 18th at 7 o'clock, part of the Bud Light concert series. We're listening to one of his hits, Amazing. You can check out tickets to see Josh by logging on to Ticketmaster.com, going to the House of Blues box office or HOB.com, or you can call Ticketmaster at 312-559-1212. Josh Kelly, April 18th, House of Blues Chicago. Check him out.
I'll tell you what's amazing is that House of Blues. If you've never had an opportunity to see a show there, I would highly recommend it. Just a tremendous, intimate venue. Not a bad seat in the house.
That's a great place. The 0-1 to Soriano. Bounce to short, easy play for Hardy. And Bush goes 1-2-3 for the second straight inning. Hang with us. Rich Hill back to work when we come back.
This is a sex line?
Margaret's got a hang up with her new job.
You can clear $500 a night. Hi.
Next, Becker.
Tonight at 12:30 Eastern. It's game 2 of the border battle. Chicago looks to pour it on at Miller Park. Cubs, Brewers, Saturday at 1 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help. With bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace, your place. With everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. Ace.
The helpful place.
Through the years, many things pass from father to son, like Aqua Velva Aftershave. Smells great, cools, firms, and tones. Cool. Aqua Velva, men get it.
You gelling?
We're gelling.
Gelling is something very compelling.
We put 2 kinds of gel into Dr. Scholl's new and improved massage and gel insoles. Outrageous comfort guaranteed.
We're gelling.
You're not.
You're not. Dr. Scholl's.
It's time to feel free with Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back.
I'm free.
Then feel free to change back again.
In the old time.
Without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
You see a lot of zeros there right next to Brewers. The only one was the error made by Bill Hall in the first inning. Cubs scored 6 times in that inning. And a 27-year-old left-hander, Rich Hill, has been dominated. High drive, and that will break the perfect game way out for Corey Hart, 6-1. Comes Bernie Brewer. Hart really jacked it out for his first homer of the year.
Not much doubt about that one. Cliff Floyd didn't move in left field. Soriano gave it a couple of steps and then decided he had no chance to catch it. Fastball down and in. Corey Hart using that leverage, that long, lanky frame, those long arms, and really dropped the bat head on that one.
So it's 6-1. Raffanino rolls it to Ramirez. Nice play to recover. Save. Derek had his foot off the bag, and Derek saying no. Saying to Charlie Relaford, I really thought he kept his foot on the base.
Derek Lee never argues unnecessarily. It was kind of an odd-looking stretch and catch of that throw from Ramirez, and certainly Ramirez bobbling the ball kind of threw the timing of the playoff a little bit, but Derek immediately was shaking his head no to Charlie Relaford, indicating that he thought he was still on the bag. We'll give you another look. You be the umpire. Ramirez keeps his wits about him, stays with the ball. Oh, yeah, that's an out.
The error will go on Ramirez.
Oh, that is a big timeout. Oh, man, how can you miss that one? Huh. I mean, as a first baseman, once you have that ball in your glove and you know your foot's on the bag, and as I said, the rhythm of the play was thrown off, and you know that runner's coming down the line, you want to get that foot off the bag as quickly as possible to avoid any kind of a tripping accident down there at first base. Derek clearly on the bag as he caught that throw from Aramis Ramirez.
So the first bit of adversity for Hill tonight, facing Jeff Jenkins. They are loaded with lefties on their bench. Jenkins batting for Bush. The only righty on their bench is the backup catcher, former Cub Damian Miller. Back to Hill. Is Torres, can't handle it. It's a high throw. And everybody's safe. Second error of the inning. That could have been a double play, but instead nobody out.
You watch Rich Hill as he catches his comebacker. He stands flat-footed and makes his throw to second base. He drops down, gets his elbow underneath the throw, and it just sails on Cesar Izturis on out into center field. Hey, you'd like to see your pitcher take just a little bit of a crow hop and get his momentum going toward his target. That time Rich Hill was just in a little bit too much of a hurry to get that ball to second base.
So back-to-back errors after the home run by Hart. And things can change so quickly.
Well, after the Corey Hart home run, this is the play that started the trouble here in this inning. Ramirez stayed with a tough hop down there at third base. Strong throw to Derek Lee, clearly on the base as he caught that throw. Raffanino was out by about a step and a half, but called safe at first base by Charlie Relaford. The next error was just a little bit of anxiousness on the part of Rich Hill to get that ball to second base.
So both errors throwing miscues. And the Brewers fans are really for the first time into this game. First and second, no outs. Here's a pitch. Popped up. Infield fly rule. Derek Lee, 1 out. Brings up J.J. Hardy.
You mentioned an inning or so ago, Len, you'd still like to continue to add on offensively. We've talked about this ballpark and how favorable it is to offenses, and certainly these Brewers are capable of busting loose at any moment. So not only does Rich Hill and the Cubs defense need to continue what they were doing before this inning, but the offense needs to continue to swing those bats.
Slide step in the 1-0, a strike.
Well, that's a great pitch for me. That's something that we used to use a lot in Arizona. A slide step changeup. Batter's natural instinct when he sees that pitcher slide step is to really start his swing quickly, and then you throw an off-speed pitch out of that slide step. That's very effective.
Prince Fielder is as close to home plate as he is the on-deck circle. Another pop-up. Infield fly yet again, even though it's in the grass in the outfield. This year, when you can't be at home to watch the Cubs on TV, check out MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game of the season live online, even when you're traveling. This year, live radio broadcasts are included with a subscription to MLB.tv. For more details, visit Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. Curved for a strike on Fielder. He had a really good year last year, but it was one of those years where there were a lot of National League rookies who had big seasons. Off the end of the bat foul. Fielder led National League rookies in home runs. He finished just 7th in the Rookie of the Year balloting. And Ramirez won it. You had all those Florida Marlins and Ryan Zimmerman and Washington. Leadoff homer by Hart. Back-to-back errors, but then back-to-back pop-outs, and he went down sidearm to get Fielder and Rich Hill. Doesn't show a ton of emotion, but really excited, pumping his fist after he got out of it. How about that pitch? Nicely done. 6-1.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi.
Roundup Extended Control. It kills tough weeds fast. It also prevents. Just spray wherever you don't want weeds, and you won't get weeds for up to 1, 2, 3 full months. Roundup Extended Control. Weeds have met their match.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
Time to have a ball, brought to you by our friends at the Illinois Lottery. And we do it every time we come to Milwaukee. The sausage race. The chorizo now involved. But it was the Italian, right? All the way.
Oh, the Italian from start to finish. He was on record-setting pace through the first half of the race and then just kind of cruised across the finish line. That's the all-time record is held by Italian, 20.96 seconds. Today's time, 22.83, so a couple of seconds off the record.
Here's the Brewers' 5th starter, Claudio Vargas. Not scheduled to make his first start until Wednesday at Florida. So this is really his throw day. But they had that off day yesterday, so able to bump their top starters up. Jones through the hole on the right side and a base hit. Numbers for Vargas against the Cubs, including 1 start. Came over from the Diamondbacks in a trade over the winter. Offense hasn't done really anything since the first inning.
I was just writing down the numbers for Dave Bush, and not a bad outing if you disregard that first inning. Of course, you can't do that, but he gave up 6 runs on 6 hits in the first inning. Only gave up 2 base hits the rest of the way, struck out 7 batters.
Quick throw to first. Jones back in plenty of time.
And once again, reinforcing that theory about getting to the starting pitcher early before he has a chance to settle in. And the Cubs were able to do that tonight. And it's very fortunate they did put a 6th spot on the board in the first, because Bush settled in quickly.
The 0-1 pitch. A rainbow out into right center, and it's Hall making the catch. Long run for him. Let's take a look at tonight's Honda Civic game summary. Well, the story of the night, really 2 parts. The 6-run first with DeRosa hitting the 2-run homer. Rich Hill has been tremendous as the Cubs continue to get quality starts. Solo homer for Corey Hart. Not a lot of offense otherwise from Milwaukee. Here's the DeRosa home run, his 2nd in 2 days. That's today's Honda Civic game summary. Get performance and save gas. Test drive a new Civic at your Honda dealer today. Ramirez a batter. Busted bat. Floater out in the center, and Hall plays it on the bounce. They're going to throw to second. Gets by. Tell you what, if the throw had been right on the money, they may have been able to get Jock. He had to wait. He thought, and I thought, that Hall was going to go after that ball, but he pulled up at the last second. And Ramirez ends up with a single because of the hustle by Jock.
Says, come on, man, you almost cost me a base hit right there. Of course, if that ball is thrown to second base for the force, that goes into book as a fielder's choice. So Ramos Ramirez grateful that Jock Jones was able to beat that throw to second base. I think this perhaps is a little bit of the inexperience in center field by Bill Hall, and the more balls you have hit out in your direction, the better read you're going to get on broken bat floaters like that. He got a late jump and pulled up a little bit short.
Well, 2 on with only 1 away. Cliff is 1 for 3. RBI double and a run in the first inning. We're in the 7th tonight, game 1 of a 3-game set. Another nice catch by a fan. This is a first of 15 games between these 2 clubs. 12 will come before the All-Star break. Brewers will make 3 trips to Wrigley. Cubs will be back here June 4th through the 6th. Cubs are 3 games over all time here at Miller Park. Another foul back to the seats. Cliff from Chicago. He's given all of his tickets to his parents, and he's basically said, you work it out when it comes to Wrigley Field. Cell phone's going to go off early in the morning. Not going to turn it on till the game's over. Smart move.
Well, that happens so often when players return to wherever their home is to play. It's obviously nice to go back close to friends and relatives, but sometimes the demands can be a little overwhelming. It looked like the clubby didn't get Cliff's uniform out of the dryer quickly enough. Got a few wrinkles there.
He looks all business right now, doesn't he? Locked in, ready for a 1-2 from Vargas. off Estrada. And we'll do it again. Ten hits for the Cubs, the home team with 1. 3 errors combined. The Cubs made 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Jones and Ramirez the runners, second and first. Hammered, deep right center. Jones is going to come around and score easily. Ramirez right behind him. The throw is going to come toward the plate. And they get Aramis. So Jones scores, Ramirez tagged out. It's now 7-1. Floyd with his second RBI double tonight. A good relay by Milwaukee. And that'll be it for Floyd as Ryan Theriot is going to pinch run.
Well, we've talked about it all spring. Cliff Floyd, when he hits the ball, it makes a loud noise off of his bat. Jumps on this high pitch and drives it into the gap in right center field. You know, even though Aramis Ramirez was thrown out at the plate right there, I think that was a good send by Mike Quade. Cubs have a fairly comfortable lead right here. It's going to take an absolutely perfect relay throw to get him at the plate, and unfortunately for the Cubs, that's what the Brewers came up with right there. Tried to get his hand in there on the plate before the tag of Estrada. It looked like it was a lot closer than it appeared. The ball beat him easily to the plate, but that wide slide and trying to get the hand on the dish looked like he almost snuck it in there.
It's going to drop for Barrett. Theriot coming around. Might be a play this time. Didn't get him. And Theriot got in safely. Only question I had, did Ryan touch the plate? But he did. 8-1.
Another good send. Michael Barrett goes the opposite way. Corey Hart with a strong throw to home plate. Pulls Estrada up the third baseline just a little bit. Ryan Theriot knows he's got to get around the Brewers' big catcher, and he does just that. It's a hand on the dish.
Well, and a good move by Lou. I don't think Cliff would have been able to score. Theriot, one of the Cubs' fastest runners, and he barely got in. 2 RBIs for Michael.
I don't think there's any question Cliff Floyd doesn't score on that ball. It was hit crisply into right field, and Corey Hart charged it, got in good position to make the throw. Just too much speed by Theriot and an absolutely perfect slide.
Swing and a miss, and Estrada held on. DeRosa strikes out. 7th inning stretch time from Milwaukee. Cubs had 2 and now lead by 7.
Lizzie McGuire celebrates life as a teenager, where anything and everything could go wrong. But with the help of her family and friends, everything will be all right.
Yeah, right.
It's where school, cool, and exciting adventures are just around the corner.
1 out of 3 isn't so bad.
Get inside her head. Lizzie McGuire. Weekday afternoons on Superstation WGN.
No matter what the label looks like, no matter how you say it, one beer is the perfect choice at any corner bar in any corner of the world. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser. Open up a world of taste.
Switch to Valvoline's Max Life, and there's no telling how long your car will keep going. Max Life not only protects against friction, but also leaks, deposits, and sludge, the 4 major causes of high-mileage engine breakdown. Long live your car.
It's time to feel free with Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back.
I'm
Then feel free to change back again without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off piece of that Kit Kat. Oops. Take a break and head to Dairy Queen for the new Kit Kat Blizzard. Loaded with real chunks of Kit Kat candy bars and our creamy DQ soft serve. Do one.
It's 8-1. Chill had to battle a little bit in the sixth. He gave up the leadoff homer and then 2 errors. One he made. But then he got out of it nicely. He gets the top 3 guys in the Brewers lineup. Now Bill Hall, Rich Hill. Okay, we'll get it right.
Easy for you to say.
Monosyllabic baseball names. Bill Hall, Rich Hill. And strike on the cleanup man for Milwaukee. He's going to wear number 42 on the 15th in honor of Jackie Robinson's 60th anniversary of his major league debut. Derek Lee will wear 42 for the Cubs. The entire Dodger team will also wear 42. The idea was Ken Griffey Jr.'s. Be an interesting day for the Dodgers. Now pitching number 42. Now playing left field, number 42. Retired all around baseball. The great Jackie Robinson. Line and flagged down by Ramirez. Well, the first 4 games, when you look at the starters, the only guy who hasn't put up a quality start was Carlos Zambrano. We expect him to be a lot better tomorrow, but look at Hill, Marquis, and Lilly the last 3 starts.
8 hits over 19 and a third innings pitched. Only 3 walks combined in those 3 starts. But very, very encouraging. Not that the Cubs didn't think their pitching was going to be that good. And it remains to be seen if it will be that good all year long. But the idea was the Cubs were going to be an offensive juggernaut this year. And the pitching was going to have a lot of margin for error. We just had a shot of Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach. This has to be a different feel for him this year. We know the Cubs had to rush so many rookie pitchers to the major leagues last year, way ahead of their time. And you spend a lot of your time as an instructor, whether it be a pitching coach or a hitting coach, when you have so many young players. You spend so much of your time just teaching, trying to teach guys how to repeat their delivery, how to attack major league hitters, how to finish off major league hitters, as opposed to working with a more veteran staff where it's more a case of fine-tuning the mechanics and worrying more about your game strategy. How do you want to go about attacking the opposing team?
Bounced foul near the Cubs dugout. Too many coaches work harder than Larry. And getting to know Jason Marquis. Even before the Cubs signed him, he watched Marquis pitch, and they talked mechanics a little bit in the offseason, and then Marquis signed. Ted Lilly gave him and Michael Barrett a lot of credit the other night as Ted faced a fairly unfamiliar lineup. The other thing I wanted to point out early, but we were a little distracted as the Cubs were hitting balls all over the ballpark. It's a good distraction, is that yesterday you had a lot of guys take responsibility for what happened. Will Ullman said, I didn't do my job. Bob Howery said, I hate walking guys. Michael Barrett took the heat for the pass ball. Jones with a catch. And Lou was asked about that. He said, hey, I commend our guys for taking responsibility. But then he smiled and said, but I'd rather have our guys talk about helping our club win. And hopefully that'll be the case after the ball game tonight.
That reminds me of the old cliche when you talk about a real gamer that plays outfield and you say, this guy will run through a wall for you. I've heard managers say, I'd rather see him run to the wall and catch the ball than just run through the wall.
Yeah. Well, it's a subtle thing, but I guess the point is that the Cubs players are saying all the right things. And what Lou is hinting at is he wants them to do all the right things as well. And they've done that tonight. Minch the other way. Jock Jones with the catch. Rich Hill, one hitting Milwaukee through 7 tonight. It's 8-1 Cubs.
Saturdays at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
Come spring and summer, our yard is our family room. We sleep in there, but we definitely live out here. We like a healthy lawn, and it's got to be durable, and our lawn really is both.
A healthy lawn means that we can get out there, feel comfortable in the grass.
We use Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. It feeds the lawn, and it kills dandelions.
We hate dandelions. We don't like to have them around.
I got some good old-fashioned grass stains on my pants. That's a sign of a good day. We had a lot of fun and want to do it again tomorrow. That's our Scott's lawn.
And now there's new Turf Builder Max, the weed and feed that also stops crabgrass.
Allergies? Chlortrimeton. Hey, 1 dose of this, 6-hour relief. Chlortrimeton relieves itchy, watery eyes and sneezing for 12 full hours with less drowsiness than Benadryl. It does all that? Chlortrimeton, less drowsy relief that lasts 12 hours.
I've been in this room before.
What?
I've been here before.
Yeah. You took the virtual tour at Hotels.com?
Right.
Want to check out your hotel before you check in? Send in the experts at Hotels.com. They check out thousands of hotels and bring you tools like virtual tours so you can look before you book. Log on or call now to find great deals everywhere. Hotels.com. We know hotels inside and out.
Go! Lou Piniella chatting with Rich Hill in between innings. Not quite sure if he's going to come out. He has a bat in the on-deck circle, but now he'll be replaced by Ronnie Cedeno. It looked like he was going to come out. Don't have the official pitch count, but right around 77, 78. If Milwaukee had no hits, he'd be in there.
Oh, you know
and
that.
If it were 2-1, I still think he'd be pitching. Got 78 pitches through 7. Raffanino guns down his Torres. Let's take a look at our upcoming Cubs and White Sox high-definition broadcast schedule, sponsored by Comcast. Sox and the Twins, Easter Sunday, 12:30 for the airtime. The Wrigley Field home opener for the Cubs Monday against the Astros, 12:30 with Next Year Is Here. Wednesday, the finale of the series, leadoff man at 1. Cubs and Sox baseball on WGN Sports and HD, sponsored by Comcast. Ronnie Cedeno, pitch inning. What a performance for Rich Hill. 1 hit, no walks, 6 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Well, I'm sure Rich will tell you after the ball game that the bar was set kind of high by the guys that pitched in front of him, and there's always that friendly competition that goes on between teammates. When the guy that pitches before you.
That's deep for Ronnie, and it's gone. Well, Ronnie came up as a pinch hitter yesterday, and a 2-0 count popped out in a fairly big spot. It's a home run and a blowout tonight. I'll tell you what, I'm going to look it up. Most of his career home runs have come against Milwaukee. In fact, I believe his first career homer came here in this park.
I know all of his home runs this year have come against the Brewers.
You're good.
His first career pinch hit home run for Ronnie Cedeno. Smiles all around, high fives.
All right, it's his 8th career home run, his 3rd against Milwaukee, and his 2nd here. So.
We've got another pitch up around the belt on the inside part of the plate.
Well, how about this? 3 homers for the Cubs, 2 by DeRosa and 1 by Cedeno here early on. Boy, Johnny Estrada has taken 2 off the mask. Well, they got to be careful with Estrada, BB. I think Mike Matheny last year took like 3 or 4 in the same game off the mask. He ultimately had to retire because of concussions, and he's taken a couple of direct hits tonight.
Well, certainly I have no way of proving this or disproving this, but there are those around baseball that say that the new hockey mask, even though it is very light and it's very easy to see, the visibility is great, it doesn't have the same cushioning effect as the old style mask. As I said, I have no way of proving that, but that's just a theory that some people have floated out there, and Matheny was a guy who did wear the hockey style mask.
Soriano jerked it foul. Sellout tonight, 41,758. Second sellout in the first 4 games for Milwaukee. Might have another one tomorrow. It has been all Cubs, leading 9-1. Soriano strikes out. The WGN News follows the ball game. Cubs came in 1-2, Milwaukee 2-1. You have a feeling Carlos is chomping at the bit to get out there tomorrow at noon. Wants to erase what happened on opening day and following 3 very quality starts.
Before I was so rudely interrupted by Ronnie Cedeno's home run, that's what I was alluding to, that the pitching staff kind of gets on a roll. One guy will go out and have a good outing, a good start, keep his team in the ball game. The next guy will follow and do the same, and you don't want to be the guy that breaks the chain.
Goes 3-1 to retire Jones. Cedeno, the pinch hit homer, stretches a lead to 8. There's a big guy. He'll pitch tomorrow.
The location of a nuclear bomb is discovered, yet the threat is far from over.
Have your team ready to move on my signal?
Now Jack braces for a fight to seize the weapon.
Keep your hands up!
Only to discover the countdown is on.
Are you going to be able to disarm it?
Doesn't look good.
Next 24, Saturday at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
Before you order your next beer, consider this. Budweiser still goes to the expense of Beechwood aging, an original old world style of lagering. And Budweiser cares enough to own and maintain world-renowned hop farms. A perfect choice in every corner bar, in every corner of the world. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser. Open up a world of taste.
Hot fudge shake made with Oreo cookies. New at Sonic. Yummy bits of a favorite childhood cookie blended with hot fudge into a cool, creamy treat. Sonic's new hot fudge shake made with Oreo cookies. Pay the Sonic way. Swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your car.
Through the years, many things pass from father to son, like Aqua Velva Aftershave. Smells great, cools, firms, and tones.
Cool.
Aqua Velva, men get it.
Oh, give it back!
What's going on here?
Josh stole my Kit Kat Blizzard, and he won't give it back!
Josh.
Dad!
That's awesome!
Dad!
Sure you don't want it?
Hey! Hang on to yours. The new Kit Kat Blizzard at Dairy Queen. Real chunks of Kit Kat chocolate bars and our famous DQ soft serve. Do one.
Let the evening
Now for our Bud Light Fan Camp from Milwaukee. Local Power Poppers stall with Delta. And our Bud Light Fan Camp, always worth it. Our good friends from Stall, they were the backing band for the Len and Bob Bash and did a great job.
Boy, they did an outstanding job to make us sound as good as we did. That takes a tremendous backing band.
8-1 Cubs. Angel Guzman is on. Bottom of the 8th. Rich Hill went 7, gave up 1 hit, and the only hit was to this guy, Corey Hart. The leadoff home run in the 6th. Hey, Bob, I got a nice letter from the longtime manager Johnny Cash. One of the songs we did was Folsom Prison Blues. Hart with a fly out to center. Easy play, Soriano. Lewis Robin, a longtime Cub fan. His father took him to Wrigley Field back in 1937. He lives out in California now, and chatted with him on the phone. And what a nice guy. And we hope to see Mr. Robin at Wrigley Field once again this year. But he liked what he saw in spring training when he played a clip. And that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I have a feeling that during a rain delay at some point this season, you're going to be treated or subjected to the entire show.
A few missed notes on my part, but it was fun. I'll tell you that. Graffinino low and inside. No, Jason Marquis. Just over 80 pitches yesterday. Got taken out. Got to remember, it's the first week of the season, and while guys are stretched out to an extent, base hit to right. Tonight different than yesterday. It was a tight one in Cincinnati. The bullpen was set up. Tonight you've got a really big lead, and Lou and Larry decided that hey, we got what we wanted out of Rich Hill. Let's get him out, feeling very good about his performance. Well, not a lot to go here, only 6 outs.
And not only that, Len, but those guys in the bullpen are coming out of spring training when they have built up to the point where they could go back-to-back days. Some guys back-to-back-to-back days, and you don't want them to have to sit down there too long between outings. And everybody's going to play a very important role on this ball club this year. And when you have those opportunities to get your starter out, save him some pitches, as you said, build on a really good outing, let Rich Hill take that into his next start, and then let the guys from the bullpen come in and do their job. Everybody's going to have to do a job this year on this ball club in order for it to be a successful season.
And the 1-0 to Tony Gwynn, whose father will go into the Hall of Fame this year. 1-1. One other note about that, you know, one of the things they've studied when it comes to fatigue and pitching is what really makes guys tired. And there's a theory that it's not how frequently you pitch, but it's how many pitches you throw in an outing. And you only have so many bullets. And not to look too much at the big picture, but the Cubs want Rich Hill to make 34 starts this year. Bouncer to Ramirez. He's going to go to second for 1. The relay not in time. So they get the force on Graffinino, and that's it. My point is, for all the guys, Zambrano might be a little bit of an exception because he's been such a horse and can really eat up pitch counts. But a 78 pitch performance in early April can maybe help you go to 115 in September.
No, that's a very good point. And the fact that Rich Hill didn't walk anybody tonight, and certainly the Brewers hitters, they did him some favors tonight, swinging at a lot of early count pitches. But we saw the effect of base on balls, numerous base on balls on the pitch count. Starting pitchers would be up to 100 in the 5th inning. And that really takes the decision away from the manager. At that point, you have to take the starter out of the ball game. He's been out there for some long innings, throwing a lot of pitches to get through the innings, and in a lot of high stress situations as well. But you don't walk guys. You can pitch into the 7th or 8th inning of a ball game and still have a reasonable pitch count. I don't know that I can adequately describe what it feels like as a manager when you have a pitcher on the mound who's on a pretty strict pitch count. Every foul ball, you know, you just, I equated it last year to pulling out nose hairs. Every time a pitch is thrown, oh, God, there's another one. There's another one. Oh, geez. I mean, it's just mind-numbing as you watch the pitch count go up in the early part of a ball game, knowing full well that that's going to mean you're going to have to pull that starter early and overtax your bullpen. And that tends to catch up with you in a hurry.
Well, the key this year is that they can go to the bullpen and to the guys they want, not the guys who are available. And that happened way too often last year. Not everybody was always available because it was so overworked. Runner goes on a 1-2, and Quinn gets to second without a play. It was obvious the Cubs were not paying attention to him. So even down 8, he decided to take second base. (13-2) in the hit column, 9-1 in the run column. Guzman's 2-2, flared foul. Bob, we got an email tonight. Some action in the Brewers pen. It's Carlos Villanueva. How come every time a catcher's hitting the mask by a foul ball, takes his mask off and spits? That's what baseball players do, right?
It's probably to see if any teeth come out.
Yeah. Guzman strikes out Weeks. Some more stall as we go to break. 9-1.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares even farther. Visit southwest.com.
Searching other websites for low fares? Better get comfortable. Fly one of Southwest Airlines' 7 daily nonstops from Chicago Midway to Long Island for just $39 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez.
And I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
What a marvelous night for the action.
Let's go to the play-by-play.
Oh, there's Mr. Graybeard approaching Miss Hottie. Oh, no.
Rejected.
Clyde, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no play for Mr. Gray. Get that man our Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel.
It's specially formulated to penetrate coarse facial hair and gets rid of gray in 5 easy minutes.
Home run. Another win with Just for Men.
Do you have any last words?
JD must face the music.
Do I have a do-over?
Next Scrubs. Tonight at 11:30 Eastern.
Whether you've never been to Wrigley Field or been 1,000 times, a guided tour of the friendly confines has something for everyone. Each 90-minute tour includes a visit to the press box, locker rooms, dugouts, and much more. Tours are sponsored by Bank of America and are available on select dates throughout the season. Tickets are $25. Proceeds benefit Cubs Care. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Carlos Villanueva gets a bounding ball over him. Hardy cuts it off and throws out Derek Lee. Good range by J.J. Hardy. He's a very good defensive shortstop. Villanueva is looking for a much better outing than his season debut on Wednesday against the Dodgers. He walked all 3 batters he faced. So Ned Yost clearly wanted to get him back out tonight in a non-pressure spot. See if he can tighten it up a little bit. Home runs tonight by DeRosa and Cedeno for the Cubs. Hart for Milwaukee. Seven runs in the first series, 9 in the first game tonight. And the ace will take the ball tomorrow. High noon against Ben Sheets.
The Gunslingers at high noon.
Quick turnaround for Carlos. Fouled back by Ramirez. One of the things the Cubs wanted to do is keep Zambrano on his every 5th day schedule. That's why he's pitching tomorrow and Miller is going to slot in Sunday. And it was mapped out in spring training. And Ramirez whiffs, tagged out by Estrada, who dropped the ball. In the first 28 games, the top 4 starters will all get 6 starts and Wade Miller will get 4. So depending on how it works out with the off days, it's possible Wade Miller could be available once or twice in a relief role like we saw Claudio Vargas tonight. The Cubs have a couple more off days this month. On the 12th, that's next Thursday, and then the 26th, which is also a Thursday. And I like that. I mean, he's your best pitcher, Zambrano. You get him out there every 5 days.
Well, and you mentioned it before. Carlos has been a horse. He's a guy that'll run up some high pitch counts, but more than just about any other pitcher in baseball, I think he's up to the task. He's capable of doing that physically and mentally. He wants the ball every 5th day.
I'm going to snack right now. He's not doing what you were talking about earlier, pulling nose hairs.
Playing a harmonica, you just can't see it.
Yeah, there you go. As Terrio walks. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Make every second count. Don't miss the award-winning Series 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, Saturday at 11:30 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Crowd starting to thin out. And the Cubs leading by 8 in the 9th.
Well, you know you're in Milwaukee when the bus pulls into the ballpark and it's 31 degrees, chance for snow flurries, and people are still tailgating outside.
Oh yeah, it's a hearty bunch. I was going to say, with the crowd thinning out, makes it a little easier for you to get back to the team hotel, but you have your limo and the police escort, I know, all lined up.
Limo?
Could I ever get a ride one of these nights?
I'm taking a chopper back tonight. Land right on the roof of the hotel.
Hardy gets the short out at second base. And the bottom of the 9th coming up. 3 more outs for the Cubs to even up their record.
The location of a nuclear bomb is discovered, yet the threat is far from over.
Have your team ready to move on my signal?
Now Jack braces for a fight to seize the weapon.
Keep your hands up!
Only to discover the countdown is on.
Are you going to be able to disarm it?
Doesn't look good. Next 24, Saturday at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
No matter what the label looks like, no matter how you say it, one beer is the perfect choice at any corner bar in any corner of the world. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser. Open up a world of taste.
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help. With bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace. Your place. With everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice. Almost like we're right there. Ace.
The helpful place.
I really like this hot fudge shake.
The Oreo bits are good.
Why aren't you drinking yours?
I'm waiting for it to cool down.
It's a hot fudge shake, but it's not hot. Once the hot fudge hits the shake part, it's all cold. See?
Not as hot as you would think a shake might be.
You never think that a shake is hot.
Unless it's called a hot fudge shake.
Even then, you pretty much figure out that it's not going to be hot.
Well, you have to have somebody explain it to you.
You do.
Hot fudge shake made with Oreo cookies. New at Sonic. A favorite childhood cookie blended with hot fudge into a cool, creamy treat. Pay the Sonic way. Swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your card.
9-1, bottom of the ninth. Angel Guzman in his second inning. He tries to close out the Brewers. Ball one. One thing we've noticed, and Angels had great stuff, made the ball club with a nice spring, is Lou Piniella really likes Angel Guzman. Been impressed with him. Throws strikes. That's foul. And really the only issue Lou had with him in spring training is just wanting to miss a few more bats with the good fastball he has. They moved him over to the third base side of the rubber.
Yeah, especially in those 2-strike counts. He wanted Guzman to be a little better at finishing off hitters, getting those defensive swings, have the ball put into play weakly. A few strikeouts scattered in there. It's hard not to like Guzman's stuff. Real live fastball, good breaking ball. And as you mentioned, that alignment on the rubber, pitching from the far third base side.
Gives a little different angle to the hitter. The thought is, really helping him against righties, getting the ball in more. Last year, really just getting his feet back on the ground after several injury-plagued campaigns. Took his lumps at this level. There's no question about that. But you hope in the end that that'll help him. 1 out. Here's tonight's Budweiser play of the game. We're going to go back to the first inning. Cubs had already scored 4 times, but a nice capper by Mark DeRosa, his second home run in 2 games. That made it 6-0. Born in America, enjoyed around the world. This is Budweiser. This is beer. Only 2 hits for the home team, and they both come at the bottom of the order. The 7th hitter, Hart, and number 8-man, Graffinino. So 1 through 7 without a knock. In fact, nobody 1 through 7's even gotten on. Tall right-hander deals outside.
And really only a couple of hard hit balls from 1 through 7 in that Brewers lineup. Fielder hit a hard ground ball to his Taurus, his first at bat of the ball game. Was thrown out at first.
Outside again as Guzman tumbled off the mound. 2 balls and a strike. He's feeling good. Began the game with a double. Nice couple of running catches tonight. Fisted and muscled out toward Terrio, and he won't get it.
Swing hard, hit it soft theory. Fielder gets jammed a little bit. It's a little floater out there in shallow left field. Terrio playing deep, respecting the power of Prince Fielder. Tries to come streaking in there, but plays it on a hop. Ryan Terrio probably feels like he needs binoculars to see the field. He's been an infielder throughout his career. Of course, his value to the ball club this year is his versatility, and he will find himself playing a lot of outfield this year. But he has to feel far removed from the action out there at left.
Ronnie Cedeno was taking balls in the outfield during extra BP today. He was originally a center fielder when he was a youngster, and When he was about 14, he moved to the infield, played short. These two teams have the similarities we talked about earlier with the 4 starting outfielders for 3 spots, but the big difference is the Cubs are pretty well stocked in the infield. Milwaukee not so much. They've got a lot of outfielders. Long run for Jock Jones over in the corner. Fair ball, it drops. Fielder had to wait. Now he's going to end up at third. And Hall has a double. So that's why Terrio's going to probably play more outfield than infield, at least early on. Second and third with 1 out.
Another ball that's not hit particularly hard by Bill Hall, but slices down into that right field corner. Jock Jones was playing Hall to pull a little bit over into the gap in right center. Had a long run to get there, and just does drop fair down in the corner.
I don't think this will happen soon, but the Cubs have 12 pitchers. And a lot of teams like to go with 11. And in an ideal world, you'd go with 11 and have that extra bench player. I can tell you one thing. It's very early, but if you get deep starts consistently as you move along, it helps make that decision a little easier.
For most teams, that's why they start with 12 pitchers, just in the event that their starters get knocked out early or they need to come out of ball games early. You like to have that extra arm in the bullpen to eliminate the taxing effect that those early exits have on the bullpen. But as you said, if your starters get you deep into the ball game and you can use your bullpen in an orderly fashion and you don't have to overwork those guys, then that extra position player becomes more valuable in the grand scheme of things.
Guzman trying to put away Estrada. And he does. Well, the Cubs are 1 out away. And it's Kevin Minch.
Good breaking ball, just buried in the dirt here. Starts at about mid-thigh, breaks it into the dirt. Estrada's been one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball through the early going this season. He's taken the collar tonight, an 0 for 4.
Well, the Cubs have taken some heat by not producing a lot of big leaguers on this current roster, but we've seen Rich Hill and Angel Guzman. We have Ryan Terrio, Ronnie Cedeno, homegrown products. Guzman officially was a Kansas City Royals product, but he had his contract voided, and then the Cubs swooped in and signed him. Line left center, and the Brewers will get a couple runs as Minch knocks in Fielder and Hall, and it's now 9-3. All over but the shouting, but Guzman didn't want to give up any runs.
Well, then Lou Piniella doesn't want to dip any deeper into that bullpen. He's just going to let Guzman try to get the last out of this ball game. After a couple of fairly softly hit balls, Kevin Minch squares one up and drives it into the gap in left center field to drive home a couple of teammates.
I don't care if you're ahead 27-0. No pitcher wants to give up any runs. Cub fans on their feet. The kick and the pitch. Back to the pitcher. This will do it. Guzman to Lee, and the Cubs win. They jumped on him early and rode the hot pitching of Rich Hill, who gave up 1 hit in 7 innings. Guzman gives up a couple runs in the final 2. Mark DeRosa with his 2nd home run in 2 days. 9-3 the final score. 13 hits for the Cubs. The offense finally going. Cubs 2-2, Brewers 2-2. We'll have more from Miller Park after this.
Busted a brothel on the west side. Next on WGN News, soliciting clients on Craigslist. We'll tell you who police say was actually running the show. How Tadahito Iguchi of the White Sox hit a home run today without ever taking to the field.
I still think that on paper this team is a better team than we had in 05.
Rich King sits down with White Sox chairman Jerry Reinsdorf for an exclusive interview on the hopes of another Southside championship.
What up, P?
Yo, I got an idea.
Come spring and summer, our yard is our family room. We sleep in there, but we definitely live out here.
I really just like the feeling of the grass.
We like a healthy lawn, and it's got to be durable, and our lawn really is both.
A healthy lawn means that we can get out there, feel comfortable in the grass.
We use Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. It feeds the lawn, and it kills dandelions.
We hate dandelions. We don't like to have them around.
I got some good old-fashioned grass stains on my pants. That's a sign of a good day. We had a lot of fun and want to do it again tomorrow. That's our Scott's lawn.
Chase Freedom. It feels like no other credit card in the world. And it works like no other card, too. Feel free to choose cash back. And then change to points. And then change again, all with the same card and without losing a thing. That's freedom. Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
At GameFly, our passion for gaming has led us to rent games differently. We think different is better. Choose from thousands of the latest and classic video games delivered right to your door. Keep them as long as you want with no late fees. Then send them back in our prepaid envelope. People think we're crazy to rent games for as low as $8.95 for the first month. We think we're visionaries. Our vision? Make renting easier. Different? Maybe. Smarter? We think so. Go to Gamefly.com and start renting differently.
New low starting price. Product shown rated E through F.
All Cubs from the get-go tonight. 9 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors, 6 left for the Cubs. For Milwaukee, 3 runs on just 5 hits, 1 error, 4 left. Rich Hill, the winner. The loser is Dave Bush, and another outstanding performance by a starting pitcher tonight. Our player of the game is Rich Hill.
He carried on what he started in spring training. We talked about it before the ball game. Did not walk a batter in Arizona. Struck out 6 tonight. Did not walk a batter. Gave up only the solo home run to Corey Hart. Great outing by Rich Hill.
He was perfect into the 6th inning. Gave up the leadoff home run to Hart, and that was all he gave up. A couple of errors in the inning, but then he got out of it. Went 1-2-3 again. In the 7th, Guzman closed it out. No save, but the Brewers are beaten by the Cubs tonight. 9-3, the final score.
Through the ups and downs, we still believe.
I mean, it's a story. Look at the great players that played here, the Ernie Banks and the Billy Williams and the Fergie Jenkins and the Ryan Sandbergs and the Ron Santos that go on. You can go on. And the Ivy and the Bleacher Bombs and the people that come out here religiously and faithfully and passionately to support this organization. You know, it's something to be said. It really is. And I'm just so happy and so pleased and so excited to be given this opportunity. And I'm going to work as hard as I humanly can, and my coaching staff will do the same to ensure that this ends up very, very successful.
The stage has been set, and the big players are ready. Next year is here. The season of hope is alive. Cubs baseball on Superstation WGN.
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help. with bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace, your place, with everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. Ace,
the helpful place.
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by Budweiser, born in America and enjoyed around the world. This is Budweiser. This is beer. Your Chicagoland Dodge dealers. The Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Our next telecast of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports tomorrow afternoon. Game 2 of this 3-game series should be a dandy on the mound. We're on the air at noon straight up. Carlos Zambrano looks for a bounce-back outing. Ben Sheets for Milwaukee. Once again, our final tonight, Cubs 9, Brewers 3. BB, we got an early one tomorrow. You doing okay with the Brats?
Sleep fast, yeah.
Sleep fast.
So far, the Brats have treated me all right.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. 9-3 Cubs, the final. Great night for Rich Hill and company. The WGN News is coming up next.
From a guy's perspective, it's very difficult to kind of verbalize some things.
It's very difficult to sit down and describe yourself in, 3 to 4 sentences.
Dating sites give you a picture and a paragraph. At eHarmony, we do the matching for you based on 29 proven dimensions of compatibility.
You tell them about you, and that's all you have to do.
Get matched with other singles pre-screened for compatibility with you.
If you're honest with yourself and you're honest with the process, then you're going to find the person you're supposed to find.
eHarmony.com. Log on today.
Halt! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Answer my 3 questions and I'll let you pass.
Are you kidding?
What's large as a mountain but as small as a... Hey, how many people you got in there?
8.
Whoa, is that a DVD player?
Maybe.
Do I smell cookies?
Hit the gas. That's 3.
Beloved by humans, envied by trolls. The Pilot from Honda.
It's America's favorite teen queen, Lizzie McGuire. Weekday afternoons, only on Superstation WGN. This is Chicago's very own WGN News at 9.
Suburban police raid a brothel soliciting over the internet, but the real surprise is who was allegedly running this operation. Good evening, I'm Allison Payne.
And I'm Steve Sanders. WGN's Juan Carlos Fanjul live in West Suburban Berkeley with our top story. Juan Carlos.
Well, Steve, this is a printout of an online ad, one that police say is actually an ad for prostitution. Now, the location listed here, it says Hillside. That's why Hillside police got involved, but their investigation led them to this home just behind me here in nearby Berkeley. Residents in tiny West Suburban Berkeley floored after hearing police allegations that this home was used as a site for prostitution. Police in nearby Hillside arresting 3 people at the house after spotting an erotic ad in popular online classified site Craigslist. A woman claiming to live in Hillside by the name of Amy posing seductively, saying her rates at $250 were reasonable, offering a GFE.
GFE means girlfriend experience, which is a prostitution term used for if you want a girlfriend and you come over and it's for sex.
After making contact with a woman, cops posing as Johns and offering money, enough for an arrest. The alleged prostitute, 27-year-old Heidi Mudge of Minnesota. The alleged madam, a 17-year-old Kimberly Peterson. Also arrested this guy who cops say just happened to show up during the bust. He's 48-year-old Potapchik Gregory of Cherville, Indiana. Police are not surprised at this online bust.
Unfortunately, there's areas where prostitutes are advertising. They're no longer on our streets. They're not walking our street corners. They're doing it on the line, and everybody's free to go to the internet at any given time.
Basically, I'm totally shocked. I had no idea like anything, shady was going on. I've seen, multiple cars, in the driveway, but that's kind of common around here. Everybody's 3 vehicles at least, but to find out that like they might be up to something, illegal is very shocking. I live right down the block.
Yeah, that minor, the 17-year-old, was actually charged as an adult, according to police. She was charged with apparently running a brothel here at this home. We don't know what the relationship is between her and the alleged prostitute, who's 10 years older. Now, all 3 that you saw there in our piece have since bonded out from jail. Reporting live here from West Suburban Berkeley, Juan Carlos Fanjul, WGN News.
All right, Juan Carlos, thank you. Thousands of laptop computers were stolen from the Chicago Public Schools central office. Those laptops contained personal information on thousands of school teachers. WGN's Julie Unruh is live with that story tonight. Julie.
Good evening, Allison. This material is highly sensitive because these 2 pieces of equipment may have contained the names and social security numbers of as many as 40,000 employees of the Chicago Public Schools. Now take a look at this surveillance video. It shows the suspect, an African-American male at the bottom of your screen, exiting 125 South Clark, the Chicago Public Schools headquarters. It's sometime after 11:30 this morning. We're told there are 120 or so cameras throughout the building, and security personnel are reviewing all of the tapes with the help of the Chicago Police Department. 2 consultants, we're told, were using these laptops in the finance department on the 13th floor, rather. They reportedly stepped away to take a break and left the laptops unattended in an unlocked office.
This is a theft. This is a theft of equipment. We believe that this suspect was after the equipment. It's easy currency. And these days, laptops are easily converted to quick cash. And that's what we believe that this entailed.
Now, the offender in this case, the suspect, was never caught on tape entering the building, only leaving it. We are told by security personnel tonight that they do not believe, however, that this is an inside job. There is a reward being offered in this case of $2,500, and if you have any information that may lead to an arrest, you should call the Chicago Police Department. We also just recently reached out to the Chicago Teachers Union, and they've given us a statement tonight from Marilyn Stewart saying, once again, our members have become victims of a lapse of security at CPS. It is unimaginable that they would allow this to happen again. It is absurd, she says. We're live in the loop. Julie Unruh, WGN News.
Thank you, Julie. Today is Good Friday in most Christian religions, marking the day when Jesus Christ was crucified. Francis Cardinal George presided over a solemn service at Holy Name Cathedral this evening. The Archdiocese reports no masses are held in the Catholic Church on this date, but the cross is venerated and prayers are offered for the church. A 19-foot cross has joined the Picasso at Daley Plaza. The Thomas More Society obtained the permit to erect the cross yesterday. They are proud, they say, to be able to put it up and hope it inspires everyone to celebrate their own religion.
Well, we're very gratified, and it should happen for everybody. Any faith, any folks that want to profess their faith here, the plaza should be open and accessible to them, too.
The cross will remain in Daley Plaza throughout Easter service. There on Sunday morning at 6:15, the service will be open to the public. Coming up on WGN News, a White Sox player makes a sick child's day, not with the crack of a bat, but by cracking open his checkbook.
Divers are searching for 2 people missing after a cruise ship in a crater tore open on the rocks.
Anna Nicole Smith spills it all in her diaries. They could be yours if the price is right.
And Mother Nature goes on spring break, leaving us in the care of Old Man Winter. Tom Skilling has your weekend forecast.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News at 9, named Best Newscast by the Illinois Associated Press.
Woke up this morning on the next Scrubs. Without you. Dr. Kelso sings.
Thank you very much.
Elliot swings.
I told you so.
Dr. Cox has a fling.
No, I hate you.
I hate you too, honey.
And JD
Before we begin, do you have any last words?
Must face the music.
Do I have a do-over?
Next Scrubs. Tonight at 11:30 Eastern.
Code Green. I think I've lost him.
Hey, haven't I seen you before?
You sure have. Look out!
Whoa! My car! It's too late to report my claim now.
Don't you have Esurance?
I do.
At Esurance, you can report your claim 24/7, online or on the phone. Always fast and friendly. You'll be back on the road in no time. Duty calls. If you're on the go, you gotta have Esurance.
Save on 24/7 claim service at Esurance.com.
Some of us need help falling asleep. Even more of us need help staying asleep. A lot of us need help with both problems. But a good night's sleep doesn't have to be an on-off thing anymore. From the makers of the most prescribed name in sleep medicine comes controlled release formula Ambien CR. It's the only one with 2 layers of sleep relief. The first dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep fast. Plus, unlike other sleep medications, there's a second layer. It dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. Ambien CR is a treatment option you and your healthcare provider can consider along with lifestyle changes and can be taken for as long as your provider recommends. Until you know how Ambien CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Be sure you're able to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active again. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic. However, like most sleep medicines, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol. So ask your healthcare provider about controlled release formula Ambien CR. Remember, CR for a good night's sleep from start to finish.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News at 9.
A Louisiana pawn shop manager says he was shocked when a father started teaching his toddler son the finer points of an AK-47 assault rifle. The father allegedly told the boy he could be a soldier and could kill everybody because daddy was going to buy him the gun. Now, the shop manager got angry and says he refused to sell the man the rifle because he said he was worried about the child. 27 people were killed in Iraq today when a suicide bomber exploded a truck full of TNT and toxic chlorine gas. The bomber, a suspected member of al-Qaeda, drove the truck into a police checkpoint just west of Ramadi. This is the 9th chlorine gas attack in Iraq since late January, and just today, 3,400 soldiers with the Indiana National Guard were told they will be deployed sometime soon. As for where, they don't know yet. Many of them have already served in Iraq or Afghanistan.
China says it is investigating allegations that a Chinese company exported tainted wheat gluten, and that's been linked to the deaths of more than a dozen cats and dogs. Last week, the FDA banned gluten imports from the company in question. That gluten is used in a wide variety of pet foods. A government official says China will investigate claims that the exported wheat gluten contained melamine, a chemical found in plastics and pesticides. 2 of Anna Nicole Smith's diaries from the early 1990s are among several pieces of memorabilia that will soon be up for public auction. In the diary, Smith writes about love, sex, shopping, and concerns about her weight. She writes about her love for her husband, oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall, and her fear about his declining health. The Anna Nicole Smith diaries and other memorabilia will be sold at auction in a few weeks in Dallas.
A 45-year-old man from France and his 16-year-old daughter are believed to be the only people still missing after a cruise ship sank in the Aegean Sea. Nearly 1,600 people were on board the ship called the Sea Diamond, which struck rocks here off the Greek island of Santorini yesterday. Lewis Cruise Lines, the ship's operator, insists this 21-year-old vessel had been well maintained. Passengers on board were mostly American and returned to the main port of Athens. The ship sank 15 hours after it began taking on water.
Cold weather may have postponed today's White Sox game at U.S. Cellular Field. However, one Sox player's heart was warm with love and concern for a boy in need of a heart transplant. WGN's Antoine Lewis is here with that story tonight. Antoine?
Allison, he's certainly a fan favorite, and Tadahito Iguchi spent this Good Friday spreading good cheer.
At first, Takuya Matsumoto was confused by all the cameras, and then his surprise walked in.
I heard about the sport through the team, and I definitely wanted to make a visit when I have the chance.
White Sox second baseman Tadahito Iguchi showed his fan support this afternoon by dropping in on the 12-year-old in town from Japan awaiting a heart transplant.
What I told him was for him to do his best, and as soon as he got better, I would like to invite him over to U.S. Cellular Field to watch a game.
Doctors at University of Chicago say Takuya's left ventricle doesn't work on its own. It's using a pump. But the pump only lasts about 18 months, and Takuya's pump has already been in place for more than half that time.
He's got the highest priority, so we have different grades of listing. So, 1A is the top of the list, and 1B is next, and he's a 1A.
Takuya will still have a long road ahead of him even after the transplant. But his mother believes this visit from his idol will bring about a speedy recovery.
My son dreams of playing baseball once he gets healthy again, so for Mr. Iguchi to show up, I think he received a tremendous amount of power and all sorts of meetings.
Now, Iguchi did more than just sign baseballs and gloves, Stephen Ellison. He found out about a fund that had been set up for to help the family with medical costs, and he went into his pocket, pulled out a check, and struck a check for $10,000.
What a gesture.
Absolutely, a great Friday.
He's been given blessings, and he's giving them back.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Antoine.
Thank you. Spring's break continues around Chicagoland.
I like that, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Tom Skilling says we should be shoveling next week. His forecast is next.
And the Cubs' bats finally come alive against the Brewers. Rich King has highlights from Milwaukee, plus the Bulls in action and Tiger hanging on at the Masters. That and more in sports.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. Look, we all know that every internet provider takes you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? At Net Zero, we give you internet access at a great price, starting at $9.95 a month. You'll get features like pop-up blocker, virus protection, and the fastest surfing over dial-up. And Net Zero is risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. All this for just $9.95 a month. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
Oh my gosh, Cloud! Cloud! Run! Oh, mercy! Mercy! Come on, legs!
Man, I hate the rainy season.
Yeah. Great cheese comes from happy cows. Happy cows come from California. Real California cheese.
When you want to get away,
Let's go, girls!
Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Go on. Spring is here and I want a clean start. I'm through getting on my hands and knees begging you to make this work.
Any response? Well, we're out of time.
Want a thorough spring cleaning? Get Swiffer Wet. The scrubbing strip cleans tough, dried-on messes better than a mop. And the wet cloth traps and locks them away. It's the cleaner spring cleaner.
That was a great session.
Swiffer gives spring cleaning a whole new meaning.
Worried about rising monthly payments in your adjustable mortgage? What if you had a mortgage with the option of a low monthly payment and a fixed rate for the life of your loan? Call 1-800-71-FIXED or log on to ditech.com, a GMAC company.
WGN News is sponsored in part by Ace Hardware.
It's where you think, play, live. You can paint your world however you see it. At Ace, we're here to help with bold colors to match your ideas. From start to finish, your walls come to life to reflect you. Find your colors now at Ace, your place, with everything you need to color your life. Plus helpful advice, almost like we're right there. Ace,
the helpful place.
Welcome back. You know, we're already a little stunned by this cold snap,
sure are.
and now you say you might have another stunner.
Well, it is absolutely almost inconceivable. We found that there have only been 86 days of measurable snow of the 3,500 we have on record in Chicago beyond this date.
But we'll have some flurries. These won't be anything to write home about, but kind of interesting at this late date anyway. Starting later tonight and tomorrow in spots, and into tomorrow night and even Easter Sunday off and on. But there's a storm that could actually produce a sticking snow, particularly over west and northern sections of the metro area Tuesday, Wednesday, if some of the early computer guidance on this works out. Now, it is way early, 5 days ahead of time, and there are 4 computer models that bring it in as snow and 4 more that say it may be more like rain. What a beautiful day today with those little puffy cumulus clouds, as you can see. But we've got to watch that. We'll talk more about it in a second. Short term, there's a little wave backing up at us. In fact, you see this flow of moisture from the Pacific Maritime back into this area around a stalled storm that's held in place and is circulating this cold air deeply into the United States. Virtually every location east of the Rockies had a high temperature today that was below normal. In contrast to that, there were record-breaking high temperatures out to the west. And here you see in our RPM model, not a lot of snow. Most of it's downwind of the lakes, but they are still being hit in the upper peninsula of Michigan, where Marquette picked up another 3.5 inches after their 30-plus inches yesterday. Phoenix Farm, a little town up there in the UP, has 40 inches down and may have picked up another 4 or 5 today. The report's not in yet. Nearly 40 inches just north of Marquette. At Paynesville, Michigan, too. Phenomenal. They had more snow there in the last 3 days than we get in a whole winter. And here you can see our RPM model bringing a little wave down here, keeping the isobars that generate the winds packed. When pressures change quickly, isobars are packed together like this on weather maps, and the wind blows as nature attempts to put that imbalance into balance. And look at the sprawling high that's just going nowhere. So we'll keep the chill through the Easter Passover weekend into a cold opening day for the Cubs, although it ought to be partly sunny at game time with light winds. And we'll continue to advertise freeze warnings that have been extended deeply into the south. There are 21 states in purple there, and those are all states under advisories for freezing temperatures. This after a high of 36 actually today in Chicago, making it one of the 5 coldest April 6th on record, and it was only 19 at International Falls. And it looks like with the northerly flow and the advent of cloud cover tomorrow, and look at these wind chills tonight, it may only hit 32 tomorrow, which would challenge a 71-year record for the coldest high temperature ever on tomorrow's date. So this is really quite a phenomenal cool spell for this early in the season, with a 31 tonight and a 23 up the lake in Green Bay with 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds and gusts over 30 miles an hour. A lot of wind coming down with this, too, as we've kind of opened up the Arctic ice box, even as they break records up here. At this hour, while we're shivering in the 20s, it's in the 40s in Alaska. They had the earliest 50 ever up in Bethel, Alaska. It was 58 at King Salmon, Alaska today, while we were in the 30s. Here you can see that cold pool, but watch what happens right here. There's a buckle developing in the jet, and some of our computer models suggest the 180 to 90 mile an hour jet stream up at jet airplane level that's creating these clouds right here could take that system, push it into the country, and by Tuesday, Wednesday, bring a pretty healthy April storm in here in the wake of all this chilly weather. And what's interesting about it is the path it's on would normally put a rain snow line pretty close to us. The mitigating variables this time of the year are the fact the lake has warmed to the mid-40s now, and the wind will be blowing off it, so that could keep it as rain, or maybe rain and some mixed snow or sleet here in the city, and then keep most of your accumulating snow north and west. But again, we got a long way to go, and a lot can change between now and then. Still, it's been a pretty persistent part of the forecast. For tonight, cloudy, blustery, unseasonably cold, a couple of flurries or even a snow shower late, low down to 25. Then tomorrow, cold, a record-tying 32. Which would equal the 1936 previous coldest record for the date, and as a reading about 18 degrees below normal. We ought to be in the mid to upper 50s this time of the year. 38 Easter Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds, but some flurries, more clouds than sun. Opening day, maybe some flurries in the morning, but partly sunny with light winds in the afternoon from the north, maybe even coming a little bit off the lake. And then clouding over with some rain or sleet starting on Tuesday, and could go over to snow and stick in the suburbs and last into Wednesday or early Thursday. Then the next storm, and there are 3 of them in the next 2 weeks, would be a rain and thunderstorm affair by next weekend.
You know what? Don't come back till you have some better.
No, we don't even want to hear it.
You know, that's enough.
You know, I might just leave for 2 days. What do you think? And maybe all of us will.
You leave for a week and come back.
Okay.
It'll get better.
See you next week.
Thank you,
Thanks, Tom.
All right, Allison and Steve.
Before we go to break, I need to clarify. I misspoke on a story that we reported earlier about that information that was stolen from 2 computers that belong to the Chicago Public Schools. Those computers contained information about thousands of Chicago public school teachers. And that wasn't thousands of computers stolen, but information regarding thousands of teachers. So just want to clarify.
Okay. White Sox fans may be worried about the Southsiders' early season woes.
But Jerry Reinsdorf is not panicking yet. Rich King sits down with the Sox chairman later in sports.
Saturdays at 11:30 on Superstation WGN.
Febreze Noticeables. It makes even the most unlikely rooms likable.
Come on, we've been in there forever. In a minute.
Febreze Noticeables has alternating scents to renew the freshness and eliminates odors in the air caused by bacteria.
What were you doing in there so long?
Febreze Noticeables in 2 new scents. It's always that fresh.
Live from WGN TV Chicago, the official drawing of the Illinois Lottery.
Hello, how are you doing this evening? I am Magdalena Martinez with your winning lottery numbers for Friday, April 6, 2007. Let's play our Pick 3 game. The first number is 2. The second number is 6. And the third and final number is 3. So the winning Pick 3 numbers are 2, 6, 3. Be sure to fill those Easter baskets with lotto tickets. That jackpot for tomorrow night is a big $3 million. So good luck to you, and let's start our Pick 4 game. The first number is 8. The second number is 4. The third number is 1. And the fourth and final number is 8. So the winning Pick 4 numbers are 8, 4, 1, 8. Time for Little Lotto. Tonight's big jackpot is $10,000. Good luck. Hope you have that ticket. The first number is 14. Second number is 38. The third number, 21. The fourth number is 1. And the fifth and final number is 18. So Little Lotto numbers for tonight are 14, 38, 21, 1, and 18. Be sure to enjoy the holiday weekend. That healthy eating can resume on Monday. I'm Magdalena Martinez, wishing you a wonderful weekend. Good night and good luck.
Tonight's lottery drawing was brought to you by WGN TV and supervised by the accounting firm of Clifton Gunderson.
My name is Marty Correa, and my knee is where it hurts. If I don't run for a few days, I get kind of dark and gloomy. My wife will literally hand me my shoes and say, it's time for you to go for a run. Around the 5 to 6 mile mark, my knee starts saying, ouch, ouch, ouch. Recently, what I discovered was the Aleve liquid gels. Actually, I was very impressed. They do hit quickly, and they're strong. They do the job. So I was able to function the day after a 4-hour run. I try and whoop it up when I'm out there running. Give out some rebel yells, let people know where I'm at. You're running a long run, and you go, woo! That's my secret weapon. It works every time.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of NetZero. Look, we all know that every internet provider takes you to the same internet, so why pay more to get there? At NetZero, we give you internet access at a great price, starting at $9.95 a month. You'll get features like pop-up blocker, virus protection, and the fastest surfing over dial-up. And NetZero is risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. All this for just $9.95 a month. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or visit netzero.com.
The Sprint Power Network gives you the power to make calls, check email, wirelessly download your favorite songs, watch live TV right on your phone. No one has a more powerful network. Plus coverage across the country where you need it, and more. Now try Sprint for 30 days risk-free and get the powerful M500 for $49.99. Sprint. Power up.
Need cash? Borrow up to 125% of your home's value with a fixed-rate Freedom Loan from Ditech. With Ditech, you can feel confident that you're being taken care of every step of the way. Call Ditech now, 1-800-71-FIXED.
Answer the call of the wild with outrageous animal antics and stupid human tricks, all caught on camera. When it comes to all things funny, you're barking up the right tree. Funniest Pets and People, Tuesdays at 8 on Superstation WGN. America's funniest home videos, weeknights on Superstation WGN.
Can an odor-free cream stand up to your back pain?
Benefits Asper-Cream.
Asper-Cream is clinically proven to knock out the pain with the maximum strength formula that's odor-free. Arthritis pain stopped?
Benefits Asper-Cream.
I'm Edward Shellman. I own a company called S&H Wastewater Systems. If your septic system fails, it will either back up into the yard, into the house, and had this system been maintained properly, this wouldn't have happened.
Rid-X uses 100% natural bacteria and enzymes to break down hard-to-dissolve waste, even paper, to help keep your septic system operating efficiently and prevent backups between pumpings.
By the time they have to call me, there isn't a cheap fix anymore. It's going to get expensive, and it's going to get expensive fast. I would recommend you use Rid-X once a month to maintain your septic system.
Cubs making a statement in Milwaukee tonight.
Yeah,
who woke up those guys anyway?
Well, Lou Piniella.
All right.
Give him credit. The Cubs bats were pretty silent in Cincy, but you knew it was a matter of time before they exploded. It happened in the first inning tonight in Milwaukee. The Cubs posting a 6 spot against the Brewers and coasting to a win behind a great job by Rich Hill. Lou Piniella should see a lot of this next half year or so. Cliff Floyd up in the first inning of Dave Bush rips one to deep center. It's misplayed by Bill Hall, and the comedy is on as the ball goes all over the place on this play. 2 runs will score, and this made the score 3-0. There's a throw to the plate. It's wide. Throw to the third is wide. Everybody's wide, and the Cubs are on the board 3-0. Then in the next inning, or next same inning, a 2-run shot here off the bat of Mark DeRosa. The Cubs win 9-3 to even their record at 2-2. Rich Hill giving up 1 run on 1 hit in 7 innings of work. Well, the extremely cold weather in Chicago tonight forced the White Sox to cancel their game against Minnesota. No makeup date has been set. We had a chance to sit down with Sox chairman Jerry Reinsdorf today for instant replay on Sunday night. The Sox with a slow start in spring training and in the Cleveland series, but Jerry remains confident.
I still like the club. I still think that on paper this team is a better team than we had in 05. But of course, Minnesota's better than they were in 05, and so is Detroit. This team is going to go as far as the starting pitching takes it. So far, starting pitching hasn't been that good, but I think we'll be okay.
And, of course, more Sunday night. The Bulls could wind up playing New Jersey in the first round of the playoffs, and so the fans got a preview tonight at the United Center, that possible series. If that is the fact, the matchup, make it the Bulls in 4. Andres Nocioni sitting it out with a foot injury still. He may play on Sunday. Thabo Sefolosha getting a start tonight, and he made the most of it. Along the baseline for the reverse. Bulls up big at the half, 53-38. Lowell Deng will find Kirk Heinrich here for a 3, and the Bulls never in doubt in this game. Next up, Kirk again will miss the 3 here, but watch Lowell Deng, the difficult tip, and he gets it down somehow. Bulls win 103-74 easily over New Jersey. Meantime, LeBron James and the Cavs scuffling in Washington tonight, and they got past the injury-plagued Wizards. This is ex-Bull Donyell Marshall with the baseball pass to LeBron, and a beauty it was. Cavs go on to win 99-94. They still remain tied with the Bulls for the second playoff spot, but don't forget the Bulls have the tiebreaker. Tiger Woods got a great view of the trees all day long at Augusta. Tiger in trouble almost every hole in round 2. The Masters on the par 3 12th hole, his shot comes up short, and there's no mercy at the Masters. This ball rolls right back down and rolls right into the drink. But Tiger did make the cut in this one and got the birdie here on 15. Tiger at a 74. He is 3 over par after 2 rounds, 5 shots behind the leaders, Tim Clark and Brett Wetterick. But Tiger said it could have been a lot worse.
I turned 90 into a 74 today. So, I salvaged a bad round today, and yesterday obviously I threw away a good round, so I'm still right there in the ball game.
Other news, Bulls playoff tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. Kentucky has hired former Texas A&M head coach Billy Gillespie as this new head basketball coach. And finally, Sammy Sosa got his first RBI as a Ranger. Think it was a home run? No. Watch what happens. Sammy up at the plate, and this is, didn't want to hit the ball. Check swing, the weakest of all possible hits, a bloop single, drives in a run, and that's how Sammy gets his first RBI for the Rangers. Hardly a Sammy Sosa blast. He's laughing about it at first base. Still in a great mood, looks great, so give him credit, he got the run in. And they won 2-0. So all's well that ends well.
Wish him the best.
Still a winner. Thanks, Rich. And that's the news for this Friday night. I'm Allison Payne.
And I'm Steve Sanders. Rich King, Tom Skilling, all of us here at WGN News. Have a great night, great weekend, everybody.
Sunday on WGN. Tori and the Twins are in town for an early season showdown. Sox Twins coverage starts at 1:30 today on WGN. We now join our program, already in progress.